tonight on the Black Channel, this Father's Day, we are going to be discussing Juneteenth, putting all this together here, because there was something in particular I wanted to focus on. And I follow Drop Site News. They're publication by some reporters, people who are pretty reputable about things, but I also watch to check and see some of the stuff that they report about and what they report on. They really rose to prominence since the genocide in Gaza by the Israelis against the Palestinians. They did a lot of really good reporting, good, reliable reporting, but I watch things and I always keep an eye open to see what folks focus on. And this was a story that Drop Site News had done here. It's dated today. Ghana has concluded a 3-day international conference aimed at advancing reparatory justice after the UN General Assembly adopted a Ghana-led resolution declaring the transatlantic slave trade and the enslavement of Africans the great, quote, gravest crime against humanity. Delegates from more than 80 countries meeting in Accra adopted a 19-point framework calling for formal apologies from governments and institutions that benefited from slavery, financial reparations and compensation, a global reparations fund, that sounds redundant, debt relief for affected countries, the return of looted cultural artifacts and human remains, legal mechanisms to advance reparations claims. Supporters plan to present the framework at the next UN General Assembly as they push to translate the landmark resolution into international reparations. And then they show this video down here from Al Jazeera. And this is the video in question from Al Jazeera. A depiction of the slave trade was staged on Juneteenth. What? You read that correctly. A depiction of the slave trade was staged on Juneteenth outside a fortress in Accra that once served as a hub for transporting slaves. Ghana has been hosting a conference there that aims to advance the UN resolution that declared slavery the, quote, gravest crime against humanity.
Our voices were fragmented for decades, and it served the interests of some groups to keep those voices fragmented. The slave trade affected all of us.
Not exactly true, sir, but okay. Leaders, ministers, and experts from over 80 African and Caribbean countries.
Nigga, what?
The 720 degrees of analysis and insight that you will receive absolutely nowhere else. Leaders, ministers, and experts from over 80 African and Caribbean countries met in Accra for the event.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell.
I've got commentary about this, but let me finish out the video. And called on former colonial powers to issue, quote, full, formal, and unconditional apologies for the slave trade.
We did what was right for the memory of the millions who suffered the indignity of the slave trade and those who continue to suffer racial discrimination.
Yeah. This is the reason right here why they cannot be allowed to lead this discussion. And in this case, they cannot be allowed to hijack this discussion. They cannot be allowed to lead it, nor can they be allowed to hijack it, which is currently what they're attempting to do after all these decades of dead silence. Where the hell has Ghana's support of us been for the last 50 years? You want to talk about a nation? Where's the president of Ghana when Bill Clinton was in office, but when Barack Obama was in office? Where the hell were they? Where have they been? Now, all of a sudden that we've done all the heavy work, all the heavy lifting, with them being completely AWOL, completely absent, usually ass kissing, now all of a sudden they want to jump in front of the parade and start claiming that they're the band leader. And then they want to steer the parade down some unrelated street about racial discrimination, which, where's Ghana's racial discrimination? Who's discriminating against them on Ghanaian soil? Where's the racial discrimination that you're suffering on Ghanaian soil, sir? You got whole black nations and whole black countries, although they don't want to identify as black. So I'm not sure what tribe you would be here. So yeah, folks, I mean, they're jumping in early. Let me hijack this nigga.
Let our vote on this resolution restore their dignity and humanity.
Now, let me go ahead and present you with the 720 degrees of analysis you receive absolutely nowhere else. Let's first go ahead and start with the sources of this information to begin with. There's drop site news. So, of course, I mean, you have white media outlets, okay. Then you have Al Jazeera. Then you have Al Jazeera. This is one of these Arab news outlets. Now, they're very well paid for. They have very good funding. They've got pretty reliable journalists. So, I mean, this isn't some bootleg outfit. They actually do real news, real journalism. That's perfectly fine. However, in the proud tradition of Fox News and now CBS, which has been taken over by the Ellisons and the Israel lobby, okay, and soon to be CNN. They weren't just white supremacists. Now they're going to be white supremacists and Israeli and everything else. That's the agendas that they have. And that is very important to understand here. So when you start talking about something like Al Jazeera is funded by Qatar. So when you start getting off into the Middle East and whatnot, it's like, okay, when you start talking about the subject of slavery, when you start talking about the subject of slavery and who's responsible and who would have to pay for it, don't be surprised if certain elements who have historically engaged in it at the tail end of their story. By the way, no country has ever paid reparations to the descendants of enslaved Africans or affected countries. So they want to stick that in there because, yeah, Al Jazeera, there might be a bill for you. So glad that you've done so well with all that oil money because there might be a bill for you. So from drop site to Al Jazeera, I just wanted you all to understand that some of these people who are reporting on this have interests in this subject, whether it's in America or the Middle East. So let's put that firmly in focus, squarely in focus. Somebody in the chat room saying Qatar ended slavery in 1968. I would question any of that in the Middle East, period. I would actually question that in the Middle East, period. Because the dirty little secret, of course, for those of us who actually know about it, who showed up before the Europeans. Okay. And who is still doing it after the Europeans. So before we start talking about what stopped happening in these places, when you take a look at how they built things for the World Cup and so on and so forth, we might want to go ahead and make sure about these things before we go ahead and give folks their final bill of health, because from what we've seen, that's not really an accurate statement. Not really an accurate statement. So no wonder they would be very opposed to people taking a deeper look into these things. They'd be very opposed about that. Now, first of all, the slap in the face here. Let's just deal with some basics here. And oh, yes, I'm going there. First of all, before we go any further here, Ghana, I'm so glad that you are interested in discussing reparations and countries who participated in the slave trade, because are you certain that there's not a bill waiting for you? What? First of all, to Ghana and any country there that would claim that they want to hold people accountable for the slave trade, I'm so glad to hear that. Because there may be a bill sitting over here in my desk. Let me check and see. Okay, let me see. Oh, wait a minute now. Oh, whoa. Hey, I checked in here. I see an invoice. So, Ghana, I'm so glad that you would like to start this discussion and you've taken it to the UN, because, so glad we left those castles up in the gate of no return, and I'm so glad we got that up and going there, because, there seems there's a bill that has your name on it. I'm so glad that you've brought this back to light, because yes, there is the subject of a bill with your name on it. And you're not the only ones. So glad you're bringing this to the UN so that we can have a discussion about it, because we do need to discuss everyone who participated, not just those of you who got cut out of the heist early. See, the real thing is what you're upset about is the Europeans and the colonial powers and the Arabs and anybody else who came along. What you're really upset about is the fact that they came out of it much better than you did. And when they got done, they turned around and subjugated you. They turned around and colonized you. They turned around and impoverished you. They came around and decimated you. So you were okay participating with them until your partners in the heist did a double cross. Now you're screaming foul because your partners in crime pulled a double cross. And I don't think you get reparations for getting double crossed by your partners. Well, you see, me and them, we was robbing and raping everybody. And hey, he double crossed me. He owed me. There's a conversation that the Pan-Africanists would not like for us to conduct. However, it is essential that we do that, so we need to discuss your bill. You got double-crossed by your partners. You were all slavers, and you got double-crossed by your partners in the slave trade. And now you're wanting to use our grievance so that you can try to claw back what you gave up because your partners told you that, by the way, we're going to get you too. So, no. You got a ways to go here. Don't be looking for a lot of support where that's involved here. You can't go around and commit a crime and then claim if you got double crossed, now you're a victim. I'm a victim because I was committing the crime, and then my partner who was helping me commit the crime, he sold me out later. So you see, I'm a victim too, just like the rest of you. And then, of course, they go immediately to work to substantiate why the term and the label of tether came into existence. It came into existence here because, just like with everything else, we set the model, we set the mold, we blaze the trail. And then after we've done it, the very people who sold us out, undermined us from the very beginning, here they come circling back around to see if there's something they can scheme and scam and grift. And lo and be damn hold, here they come with our achievement, something that happened in spite of their treachery. And they are, quote, marking Juneteenth. I mean, you want to talk about adding insult to injury. Juneteenth? What was your participation in Juneteenth other than making it possible by offering up slaves? What exactly does Juneteenth have to do with Ghana? I'm not even going to go into the, if we try to claim something over there, they quick to tell us, you back up, niggas, these belong to us. Stop trying to eat off of our culture. Okay, what part of Ghana's culture is Juneteenth? Where's the connection between Ghana and Texas? Show me the Juneteenth anything before us. Show me where that was. Hell, show me where it's been up until Joe Biden, by the way. Before Joe Biden and them declared it a national holiday in America, which there's another discussion to go with that, but show me where Ghana was in unity with us. Where was the Juneteenth celebrations in Ghana before Joe Biden before it was made a national holiday in America? So once again, here we go with the damn scamming. I mean, shameless. Shameless. I mean, this is coming from the, you guys need to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. Stop the complaining and whining. You don't need a holiday. You need a job, niggas. Now it's, it's Juneteenth and they're dressing up. Here's the real problem here. My problem is not with the video. Oh, this video right here, there's only one problem. The problem is you've got somebody cosplaying as a European colonialist. Why don't you show what it really was? Hey, where's the African sitting there? There's the real thing. The Europeans were just the final collectors of the merchandise. What you're not doing is showing who collected it in the first place. That's conveniently missing. So, yeah, that's a problem right there. So he's dressed in the wrong outfit. They're dressed in the wrong outfit there. I mean, there were two sets of overseers, so we need to go. You're showing the European crooks. You got to show the other crooks they were with the local crooks they were working with. Amazingly enough, now we don't want to discuss the local crooks. It's like, no. Let's discuss them. Let's discuss all them who were the collaborators. We need to talk about all the collaborators who helped them. Entire governments, entire nations, some of whom are still in existence. We need to discuss that. We need to discuss that. Very important. So when they start talking about these things, when you start seeing this type of naked hijacking going on here, I mean, boy, we're going to have reenactments of it. And I'm like, okay, you need to reenact the part where y'all were sitting up here taking part in it. That's the part you need to reenact. And then, of course, this part right here. This is the diabolical, demonic, disgusting part of them. This is why distinction and delineation are key. This is why we stopped playing the game over a decade ago. This is why Pan-Africanism, while possibly a noble pursuit, was also terminally flawed. This right here. Please show me where you have had 2, not 20, 2 African or Caribbean countries that have come to America with all these convention centers, all these auditoriums, all these HBCUs, all these congressional black caucus coons who keep running down to the Caribbean. Show me where you've had 2 African countries or 2 Caribbean countries who have come to America to discuss the necessity of reparations on our soil here. I'll wait. Damn! All of a sudden, you can get a whole bunch of folk to show up in Accra that has never had anything to say about reparations. And meanwhile, the epicenter of it, the genesis of it, the super reactor of it that made this happen, and I'm going to come to that in just a few moments here, you all have never come here. Now, how is it you can go to some bootleg side hole in the wall in Ghana, and yet we've been over here summers and winters, and you've never made your way over here, never reached out, never discussed it? How in the hell is it that you can be ignoring the superpower of reparations, which is we here on the foundational soil? How is it you can skip over that, and yet we leapfrog to Ghana that has no standing, has no history of it, no legacy, no credentials, no standing, and yet that's where you are? Sounds like you all have gotten together for a scam and said, the ones over there in America are a problem. It sounds like you have determined that those of us here on American soil who are the only legitimate grievance and who are the catalyst that made all this possible, it sounds like you've come to the determination that we are a problem and that you've made a conscious effort. Yeah, whatever happens, let's see if we can use and exploit. You continue to be exploiters. Let's see if we can use and exploit and rob and steal the momentum that you all created, the movement that you all created while we were sitting on the sidelines seeing if we could find some white supremacist asses to kiss, which is what you've spent the better part of the last 2 centuries doing. You've been looking for white asses to kiss all over the place, while we were the only ones getting any work done. Despite you did not lift a pinky finger to help. And now that we've actually made real progress, here you come after all these centuries. You haven't changed. All these centuries later, and you still haven't changed. You are every bit the con man, every bit the crook, every bit the thief, every bit the 2-bit criminal that you've always been. Now you're back to rob us all over again. They sold us into slavery and figured, don't worry, the Europeans will annihilate them all when it's all said and done. That didn't happen, and you ended up catching the worst of it. And now all of a sudden, well, you see, we're so glad you made that down. You know, eat about Juneteenth. No, we're Juneteenth, you're Scam-teenth.
Deal with it, nigga.
So I am saying this in no uncertain terms. No, you are illegitimate, unwanted, and unacceptable. There's no place at the table for you. You're not going to come here and hijack the reparations movement because you can't manage anything. The real problem is that you didn't just stop scamming. When we got sold out, you continue to sit there and scam each other to death. And that's what occurred. And this is why you're ending up in the situation that you're in now. You're sitting up here to try to scam and steal the momentum that we made that you have had nothing to do with. You have been completely uninvolved. Now that we've gotten real momentum, here you come up. So glad you niggas in America made this. We would like to take it now. Juneteenth. Oh, no. Why don't you make your own damn celebration? Why don't you choose your own event? Choose one of your own. And that brings me to the next step here. You know, folks, a few years ago, there were a whole bunch of people, mostly Africans and some Caribbeans. They were all over the place, all online. You niggas, he's crazy. You niggas, he's silly. No one's going to pay you reparations. This is foolishness. You need to be talking about something else. No one's going to do that. This is a non-issue. The Candace Owenses and the Coleman Cruzes and all of their buck dancing, butt kissing ilk. Remember? They were trying to tell you that this was never going to go anywhere and it's a non-issue and a waste of time and you all are just being delusional. How about now? Do you niggas really think you're going to get reparations? Do you niggas really think reparations is going to really happen? What is wrong with your lazies? What makes you think do you really think you're ever going to get reparations? How about now? See, you can listen to Rollin' the Bowling Ball. You can listen to Kamala Harris. You can listen to Steve Harvey. You can listen to all their bought and paid for bootlicking, ass-kissing clowns. But when you listen to the new black media, we have been completely consistent about this the entire time. We have never flinched. We have never moved a millimeter. We have stayed completely consistent. And we told all of you how this was going to go. Don't believe me. Go back and listen to all your bootlicking, ass-kissing coons, and then come back and watch this, and you tell me where's the momentum going. Because they said wasn't happening. They were telling you, and you're not going to get anything. That's what they said. Well, we're looking for them now. Can y'all find any of them today? Because all of a sudden they're getting quiet and you're not hearing anything. And now are they going to tell us that it's a nonsense movement and it's not going anywhere, it's not feasible? And meanwhile, you're over there in Ghana and 80 other countries following our lead as you always have.
Deal with it, nigga.
One more thing, following our lead as you always have. We have been the only trendsetters. We've been the only movement starters. We've been the only successful people. You have followed our lead now for 2 centuries, and the practice continues to this day. We started. You sit over there and talk about what can't get done. You watch us get it done. And then you scurry out like roaches. We knew they could do it, guys. We knew it. The issue here is a failure of cultural character. That's what the problem really is. A failure of cultural character. When you start exposing and demonstrating your complete loss and lack of character. The problem with being two-bit cowards who go around working with white supremacists and slavers is that's become your cultural character. And cowardice becomes a cultural character as well. And here we are, 2 centuries later, we're still leading. We're still the moral, intellectual, and cultural leaders. And you are still the damn cultural shoplifters. They are still the 2-bit petty crooks and shoplifters. Stuffing bubble gum and earrings into their trousers. For the few who actually are wearing any. And now, dressing themselves up in our accomplishments. I want to drill that through. And I'm yelling it because ain't nobody else telling it. They're, as usual, from the hairstyles to the clothing to the vernacular. And now when it comes to the cause of freedom, they're not even relying on their own history. They can only rely on ours. Sit your ass down thinking that we're ever going to take any advice from you about how we gonna get free.
Sit your ass down.
You're not even referring to your own history. Oh, I'm sorry. What is your culture? What is your culture, niggas? What is your culture in America? And what have I always told you? We have a culture of resistance. We have a culture of innovation. It is in our culture. We have created all of the cultural, societal, behavioral mechanisms and mannerisms of resistance. That is a hallmark of who and what we are. And to this day, when people around the world seek to get free, including in Africa, they're not referring to their history because they don't have a history of resistance. So they can't point to anything. If they could, that's what they would be sitting up here invoking now. They would be invoking their own heroes of the resistance. They would be invoking their own holidays of the resistance. They would be invoking their own observances. They would not be going to ours because but they can't go to theirs because there aren't any. They don't have any. We're the only ones who got any wins on the board. We're the only ones who got any championships, any battles won, any wars won. We're the only ones who got anything you can point to. And they're not fake or scams. We got real wins. So when you get ready to talk about going to the UN and substantiating yourself, nobody's going to show up for your damn scam observances. They're going to want to see a real damn thing. We're the only ones who got anything real. And to this day, what is our culture? Our culture is resistance. Our culture is overcoming. Our culture is victory. Our culture is innovation. Which is why we have created brand new things. And when you needed to frame the discussion and the narrative about these things, you came to the only people who have articulated it. Us. Now you know who has the culture. You can hate on that. However, we're going to make sure there's plenty much more to be hated on because please understand here, If you want to have a conversation about slavery, that's very, very glad. We're very, very glad to have that conversation with you, because all of you will be presented with your bill. Which brings us to the next subject here. As a matter of fact, it's not just about those who participated at the beginning. It's about those who've collaborated along the way. Oh, these are conversations that you are not going to want to have, I suspect, because it doesn't go so well. You coming up at the last minute and figuring that we've created something of value, and once again, we made something of value, and here come the cultural shoplifters to see if they can steal something of value. No, you're going to have to put in some work and build something here, but we're going to have to talk about that bill, because the bottom line is that we are not going to work with anybody who has not collaborated with us. You have a long history of collaborating with the slavers. You have zero track record of collaborating with us. I have spent decades now reminding you all that whenever some jackass attempts to come into our circles and talk about Ghana and right to abode, I shot that down 2 decades ago. I shot it down 2 decades ago. I shot it down then. And there was a reason that I did that. I shot it down then because when you go into the details of it, you realized it was fake. You realized that it wasn't real. You realized that they were pulling a damn scam job. You realized it then. That was the point. And then when folks attempted to go over there, then they found out, I'll be damned, Jason was right the whole damn time. Nobody's got anything except horror stories to give. They don't have anything except horror stories. If they had anything else, they'd be offering it. In the chat room, 4235 Duke needs to give me a call up here on Zoom. They said that we sound demented. I'm very glad to hear that. Let me go ahead and get this up here. I want y'all to understand you are in the era of the tether flare. Boy, you can take it. On his profile image, it looks like, bush meat before they get to slaying it.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
So I don't blame you for being upset. It looks like one of the animals they go hunting for bush meat for. Looks like one of the animals they go hunting for bush meat for, so I can understand you are in your feels. I'm taking a look at that right there. It's like, oh, this look like y'all about to go drop him in the pot and start boiling him or whatever y'all do to make him. I don't know how they cook bush meat. I'm assuming it's cooked as opposed to just left out in the sun to dehydrate. I'm just assuming. So, but yes, uncooked bushmeat Duke, let's go ahead and get you up here so you can explain to everybody what the situation here is. Let's go ahead and get you up here for that, but don't understand. We understand it's hurting your feelings. We understand you're in your feels. It's like, damn. Because you see, if you actually had an argument, you would just make that. You wouldn't sit up here and, oh, man. Dude, no need to sit up here and tether out like that. No need. We can understand these things. It's hard to hear that because what you want to do is say it's not true. See, that's the thing that you're groping for. You know, like when you're walking through Target and y'all are shoplifting stuff, you know, and you're going through the bodegas trying to shoplift some of their expired food in there. What you're groping for here is to say you all are lying. See, that's the phrase you're really looking for and hoping for. The problem is you can't say that one. You can't say that one. You can't say that one. You want to be able to say that, but you can't really say that. See, there's where the real problem comes from, is when you can't say it's a lie. See, you're supposed to be able to say that part right there. That's what redeems you. Redeeming you is, if you want to do a takedown, you can do the takedown, but you're gonna have to come with facts. So you're gonna have to just show where we're wrong, where we're lying, where what I've said is incorrect. You have to do that. Just sitting up here venting, and when you walk around the village and then you go kick the cat or something. What? That's not gonna work. Walking around the village and swinging the bushmeat rat over your head and then smacking right. Okay, I can understand, you're getting enraged. I get it, but that's not a counter argument. Swinging the dead rat around is not a counter argument. Showing the fact that demonstrates that this is untrue, what we're saying, or a falsehood, well, that's a counter argument. But you got to understand why folks like Duke are unhappy about that. You got to understand why they're unhappy. They're unhappy about this because, you see, the only thing that will uphold their fraudulent attempt at stealing our momentum and stealing our cause, because this is our cause, the only thing that can help them is if we go along with it. Let's just be clear about this. Y'all can sit up here and squeal all you want to. You're wasting your damn time, Dramani, Mahatma Gandhi. What? Whatever the hell your name is. You're wasting your damn time. You know why? Because you ain't gonna get no motion at the UN without the US. And the US doesn't fear you, because they know if they come and talk to the only representatives of the descendants of American slaves, there is no connection, camaraderie, or alliance between us and you. You the ops. They know that if they come to us, they're not going to bring out Coleman, Kuhn, and Cruz. When they come and talk to the only people with any real credentials or legitimacy, yeah, dude, we don't rock with you. You the ops. So you can sit up here and try this garbage if you want to. There's not going to be a low-key movement of us putting pressure on the U.S. government. Y'all got to go along with that, right? Y'all got to work with them. Y'all need to do that. We just like, man, we ain't fooling with them. And they know it. So you're not going to get any motion at the UN or any other place, man. That usual scamming stuff y'all do. You guys, you build it and then I come scam. You build it and then I come squat in your house that you build. No, it's not going to happen. So you're going to sit there at the UN whining your ass off, but if you can't get us to put pressure on the U.S. government, it's not going to happen. And once again, it can't be just one day of pressure. You see, for y'all, these white folk tell you, yeah, we ain't doing it, and y'all go ahead and sit back home. Imagine you sit down, you shut up. They tell us we cannot have it. Be quiet. You don't have the guts or the heart. You've never had the fortitude or the stamina. You all are the ones who sit up here and look for something to scam on. This is not a scam or a grift. This is a holy mission. This is not yet the latest scam or grift like you all live. This is our divine mission. This is our blood debt. This is generational. This is spiritual. You don't have that. This is just the latest in a long list of scams and schemes for you. This is not something you actually believe in. Is this the new welfare check? Where's the welfare office? I have my Section 9 voucher. Section 8. Whichever number it is, nigga. Section 8, 19. I got all the vouchers here. No, when you go to the UN, you ain't got no foundational backup. You can go up in there whining your asses off all you want to. You ain't got no backup. It's just going to be the usual sad parade of quacks and witch doctors coming through the place whining like they always do. You got no standing for that. They've already checked the profile. They've already checked the format. They know you ain't got no support among the soil. You have no support among the soil unless you can get us to co-sign the legitimacy of your argument. And that ain't happening. You know why? Because you scum-sucking back alley cooning niggas should have spent the last 70, 80 years joining forces with us. And the problem is, and it continues to this day, that you have been scared and afraid of us showing up, because I want my brothers and sisters from around the world to understand what the real problem is. The reason why you have not been able to get Pan-Africanism to take root is because you have had to meet a brutal reality that at the end of the day, you did not bring them Africans or Caribbeans any white asses to kiss.
Damn!
You showed up talking about black empowerment to people who have contempt for being black. As far as they're concerned, what you're bringing them is worthless. They sitting up here, you show up, where's the white money? Where's the white man's face on the money? And where's the white man? You have no white women? You must be broke, nigga. Where's your white women? So I want you all to understand the reason why it didn't work is because you can come over here and sell black empowerment here on American soil. When you go back on African soil, you can't sell that over there. They have no respect or no regard for that. They're waiting for a white savior like they were when the Europeans first showed up. So when you try to sell them on, hey, you and me gonna make this pop off. What you mean you and me, nigga? Now, if you show up with a white man, oh yes, we can do this. We can certainly do this. They'll get out there and work from sun up to sundown, won't even get a paycheck. They'll just do it on GP. They see you show up and all of a sudden he starts going to work to see how he can undermine you. Now, they have no problem. I need you to understand the cultural character flaws. These cultural character defects. When they are dominated by Europeans, that doesn't offend them. That doesn't offend them. That doesn't mortally offend them. They're not sitting up there saying, hey, this is unacceptable. They're like, hey, let the good times roll on. White folk riding them around like a rickshaw. That's not mortally offending, but when you show up and they hear that, I need you to understand the colonized part of them isn't their bodies. The colonized part is their minds and their spirits. And that's been for centuries. So you can't sell black empowerment to them. They have contempt for it. We learn to make something great and something admirable, so we actually gravitate to it. They have been summarily failed to do so, so they have contempt for it. And when you show up, it really gets exacerbated. So you're unable to sell them on that because they have no interest in what the hell you talking about. They're trying to figure out how do you get, they want to get where they're going without that. They are perfectly fine with whites, Asians, Russians, Arabs, anybody sitting there on their soil, Indians sitting there running the place. They are perfectly fine with that. That doesn't offend them or bother them. It does offend them or bother them when you show up talking about what's going to get run. Now that does bother them. Let me go ahead and put this in context for you here. When you take a look at Toussaint Louverture. What? Oh, I'm going there. take a look at how they dressed. You take a look at how they dressed. You take a look at how they displayed themselves, comported themselves. These are individuals who, from the very beginning, they took to imitating Europeans like a duck to water. And I'm not just talking about in dress or style. I'm talking about the fact that they saw themselves as subjects of France. They saw themselves as members of France. Just like in the Dominican Republic, they see themselves as members of Spain. They see themselves as dark-skinned Spaniards. The problem is when they come and talk to us. When they come and talk to us, you see, we don't see ourselves as dark-skinned Englishmen here. Well, yes, we speak English, and yes, we might have some of the dress patterns, but when you start digging below the surface and looking at the spirit and the souls, wait a minute, I don't see a dark-skinned European in here. There's the issue when they deal with us. They know when they talk to us, they desire to be dark-skinned Europeans, dark-skinned Belgians, dark-skinned French. When they talk to us, it's like, these niggas, something wrong with these niggas. They don't want to be. Why do you not assimilate, nigga? What's wrong with that? They offer you everything. You go to the NBA, they like the white women. What's wrong with you? When they talk to us, there isn't a dark-skinned European beneath the surface. And that's why there's a problem. What you are going to build is in direct conflict with who and what they are. They only talk about their nations and their countries when it's convenient. What they don't do is look inward and say, we are building something great here. That's not what happens. And it's not happening now, which is why when you go on their soil and talk to them, they don't do that. They don't do that. In the super chat, Arthur, it depends. Like I say, they travel around the world, and the experience of white people, particularly white supremacist males, yeah, they love going to foreign countries because they get their asses kissed over there. They come back here to America and like, what's wrong with you niggas here? But man, they go traveling around Africa. Folks come out singing and dancing. They go to the stores and stuff. The daughters are sitting up here offering lap dances and OnlyFans. The white fellas are like, yeah, these are sensible niggas over here. They come back to the States. Y'all niggas all crazy. Hell, they treat us like royalty over there. They give us everything free, and we're treated like the kings we are. We come back over here to you niggas in America, and y'all out your damn minds. So, yeah. That's the experience that they're looking for, and as far as they're concerned, the problem is that every time they speak to us, that doesn't happen. Whole different response when they speak to us. I guess the real problem there is we're not really looking for goodies to be handed out like that. Well, now we want empowerment. Empowerment doesn't mean that we have to have a white person giving it to us. We're like, no, we built our own. We're trying to overthrow white supremacy that is preventing us from doing that. These folks don't want to build their own. They're looking for some white folk to give it to them to validate them. You and I, we're threatening them with, okay, you're going to have it, but there'll be no white validation. No, nigga, no! No, nigga, no! The other thing is that they have grown accustomed to and proud of their homegrown corruption. That's the other thing. They have grown accustomed to their homegrown corruption, and they've become proud of it. You see, when you talk about a place like Israel, you notice something here. See, this is what we always told you. Don't come to me with no damn Ghanaian talk or anywhere else about citizenship. If they are not offering us what Israel is offering Jewish people, then it's a damn scam.
Alrighty then.
told you all this decades ago so that you would not and could not be deceived. No, it is not unreasonable, and there were some dead enders trying to sit up there and hang on to it to the last, but now eventually they all fell off and got knocked off. No, do not believe anybody on African soil who is claiming that they're offering a right of return or anything else if it doesn't look exactly the same as what Israel is offering Jewish people. What Israel is offering Jewish people is a real, true, honest, authentic right to return. Now that is the real thing. Wait. Now you need to understand exactly what that looks like. Brothers and sisters, if you're a Jewish person in America, they are openly, constantly, there are whole organizations set up to constantly solicit you to come to Israel. You ain't got to look for it, wonder, search, Google, nothing else. They're a whole when they get billions of dollars, shout out Larry Ellison. When they get billions of dollars, they make sure they have organizations set up. Shout out Miriam Adelson. While you're selling people vices like, casinos and gambling and pornography, they take that casino and gambling and pornography money and then go say, hey, by the way, we advertising for Israel, all expenses paid trip. You want to go to Israel, you can stay there for 2 or 3 weeks. You need a house, don't worry, we're getting ready to kill all these Palestinians and run them the hell off. Tell us where you want the house at and how big it is. When we get finished taking these Palestinians' land over here, we're getting ready to go take another couple of streets, so you'll have a house here in just a moment. Okay, they do their recruitment right here on American soil. You ain't got to go over there to Israel and go find a tour guide and see if you can speak the double secret handshake and see if you can find some fella living in his mama's closet somewhere. I am the pan-Jewish representative. I'm the prince of pan-Jewishness. What? As I was speaking at your college, I'll be glad to talk to you here this weekend. You don't have to do that. They got folk right here on American soil like, yeah, talk to me. Don't worry. We'll get that taken care of. No, all you got to do is be available. We'll take care of the rest. You get over there. It's going to be good. We got you. We're going to show you around. We're going to make sure you're straight. We're going to make sure you're straight. They haven't done that. Now, you know what they have done? Those low-life bastards have set up here and come over here demanding to be illegal aliens. I mean, basically, for most of these African countries, they should have a sign that says last one out, turn off the light, because they're trying to figure out how the hell to get over here by hook or by crook, risk your damn life. If you got an inner tube you can float over on. Nobody's sitting up here setting up nothing for us. There's no recruitment here. There's nobody saying, hey, we've already put things together. We're just looking for folks to show up. And one more thing, when you go to Israel, they want you to bring your businesses, your investment. There's nobody over there messing with you and trying to run scams on you. I mean, there's Benjamin Netanyahu, but you asked for that, so you really can't get mad. You can't vote for him and then get mad because he gonna do you dirty. So, but no, there's nobody sitting up here. Oh, you're a Jew from New York, so we're gonna see if we can scam you. There's nobody doing that. There's no one doing that. So you see, the situation is totally different. So when you talk about a right to return, what I'm reminding you of is that, yeah, what you see the Israelis doing with Jewish people in America, oh, that's what a right to return looks like. It looks like that. And you can't name a single equivalent anywhere where anybody is even attempting to do so, because they're all talking about, well, if you niggas from America show up, you're going to take over. Let me say something right now. I want to say this in no uncertain terms to the folks who have made a career and a whole culture of stealing ours. Let me say this in no uncertain terms. It's not so much that if we come to Africa, we would take over. It is about if we come to Africa, we ain't gonna bow down and ass kiss to nobody.
And deal with it, nigga.
We didn't do it with the European slavers over here. We damn sure ain't gonna do it over there with you. So that's the part that bothers you, is you're used to doing that, and you met some folk who don't do that. So we're not gonna play second fiddle to anybody. See, y'all been sitting around lollygagging, lazy as hell, not getting nothing done. You met some folks who actually do. Now you're scared that we gonna show up and you gonna have to put in some work. See, cooning don't work among us. When you set up our version of black empowerment, you don't get to play the coon card. You see, Candace Owens is a perfect example of playing the coon card. But you see, under our oversight, there is no institutional structure that would allow you to have an ass to kiss. There wouldn't be a Charlie Kirk or a PragerU or a Fox News for a Coleman Cruz or a Candace Owens to kiss no ass on. So you see, if you gonna come up, you're gonna have to actually produce and perform. You don't get to sit up here and be the local bumpkin and then be like, well, don't worry, I can just find some white ass to kiss, and that's the cheat code. No. See, when we run things, ain't no white ass kissing cheat code. You will be expected to outproduce and outperform. You won't get so, well, there's some white supremacy that I can suck up to. I don't have to actually produce and perform. I can find some white supremacy to sell out to. Then you see us show up. Oh, hell, they didn't bring any white asses to kiss. For those of you who wanted the 720 degrees of rationale. Oh, well, if we didn't bring you any white asses to kiss, then by extension, there will be no white supremacy for you to appeal to when you're not producing or performing. Oh, man. Well, what do you do then? Because let's be clear, Candace Owens ain't an expert at the damn thing. Her ass would still be sitting in college somewhere. Or on OnlyFans or something. So understand, when we talk about what we're doing here, they're scared we would show up and take over, and they're like, well, hell, we're gonna have to actually produce and perform some of this oddball stuff we've been doing. We won't be able to do that anymore. Well, under a system of white supremacy, we can be the white supremacist little Negro oddball sidekicks. You all ain't trying to be any sidekicks. No, we're not. Well, if you take over, we actually gotta perform. Yes, you do. Oh, hell no. Keep the white supremacists in charge. The next thing is, the best thing that could ever happen to you is us coming over and running the show.
And deal with it, nigga.
The best thing that could happen to you, you damn right, we gonna run things. And the best thing that could ever happen to you, to turn around your ass backward way of doing things, which, by the way, has ended you up where you are, the world's paupers and beggars. The best thing that can happen is us coming over and running this show. I mean, you all are like basically the Detroit Lions of the world. No, you need a whole new owner, coach, GM, front office, coordinators. Yeah, you need somebody new to come run the show. You really do. Yeah, you're not happy to hear that. It's like, yeah, nigga, give me the keys in your drunk ass. Yes, let somebody who's not drunk, stoned, drugged out, whored out, yeah, let them drive the car now. Y'all niggas is upside down in your Cooper Mini clown car in a ditch, wheels up in the air. You guys, you think you're going to drive? You think you going to drive with your damn car upside down? How you going to make this work? So, yeah, you really do need somebody with some sense and some wins. Yeah, the best thing that can happen to you is one of us running it. Ain't that right, Akon?
Nigga, please.
All y'all do is run around scamming and failing. Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. You know where y'all talk that Africa is great garbage? You talk that in America. You know where you don't talk it to in Africa. If you were, it wouldn't be necessary to speak to us. You just be making it pop. If it was popping like that, you'd just be making it pop. We'd be trying to get in over there. They talking about how great it is over there while he's sitting in the middle of Harlem. What he's not doing is sitting in Ethiopia. I hope you all didn't hold your breath waiting for Akon City to get finished there like the newest subdivision. Please. I hope you weren't holding your breath waiting for that. I know some of you are shocked and surprised that didn't become Wakanda. After all that damn talk, yeah, the only damn money or progress that clown ass nigga ever made was over here with us. By the way, show me the Africans in the music business that Akon has made successful multimillionaires of. Who are the Africans that Akon has put on? Oh, y'all ain't gonna like this next part. Who are the Africans that Akon has put on? I'll wait. I mean, you figure after all this damn time. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you know, I can think of somebody that Akon made an international star out of. I can think of somebody that Akon helped make rich. Lady Gaga.
Damn!
Oh, well, now, Akon did make a star and make rich Lady Gaga. So he was able to put a white girl on. Not no black folk, though. Who are the Africans that Akon has helped do a damn thing other than sit up here and scam them out of money? Name the black folk he's helped. I got folk in the chat room talking about French Montana. I'm like, should I tell them or are y'all gonna tell them? I think they're trying to say something. Maybe they think French Montana is a light-skinned Negro. Okay. Hey, y'all, should I tell them or are y'all gonna tell them? Yeah, I meant what I said. I meant what I said. I think some of them might be in the French Montana. Yeah, I asked who the black folk were. French Montana. I said French Montana. Okay, are y'all gonna tell them or I gonna tell them? Am I gonna tell them or are y'all gonna tell them? Yeah, we found one brother in the French Montana right here, doing the Millie Rock. Okay. All right. Thanks for helping to reinforce my point. I appreciate that. Thank you for helping to reinforce my point. I appreciate that. I really do. I really do. All right. So, in any case, this is the problem with the internet. Clueless people, they never look, they never Google, they don't do. You're wrong about that. Okay. So in any case, don't worry, y'all. I need a slow bus sound by it. I need a short bus sound drop. I'm gonna have to figure out a short bus sound drop. So when folks say stuff like that, they obviously didn't research it. Nick Fuentes' dad is dead. Okay. I need a short bus sound drop is what I need. I'm trying to figure out what sound drop would indicate a short bus. And it's going to take me a little while to figure out the one that just says it on its own. But because there's some folks clearly just when they say stuff like that, I need one that does that. I need one that does that. Maybe Sesame Street. Maybe I'll do a Sesame Street sound drop for the rest of y'all. It's like, okay. All right. In any case, Akon gonna help us. Nigga, you ain't helped nobody. Where you from? You ain't helped nobody do nothing except get broke. He hasn't helped anybody there. The only time he ever made any progress was among us. We put him on. He has yet to put anybody else on. Where he from, we put him on, and he spent the rest of his life scamming. All right. I don't blame him. But I just wanted to let you all know that as Juneteenth rolls on here, I wanted to let you all know what's going on. See, folks are unhappy about that. There are other folks out there. Freedman Culture was posting about this, that at the Hard Rock Hotel, the Hard Rock Casino in Fort Lauderdale, they had it colored up in the Juneteenth flag. Not bad light show there. I'm like, okay, you can imagine all the white supremacists in Florida were unhappy. They're very unhappy about that. Then there's some other folks who are not so happy about it. Why, this fella right here. Never seen this flag before this year. I'm like, okay. So, all right, tell me you suspect without telling me you suspect. And speaking of suspect, when you take a look at his profile, oh boy. Damn! Howard University, Princeton. Nigga, you probably bought a drink there or something. You know, you got something, you ordered something out of the vending machine. That doesn't mean you can claim that. Oh, he got the pronouns. He, him, his. F-K-A-A-M-E, young boy. Don't you mean F-K-A-A-M-E, F-boy? What? So, yeah, y'all, these are the folks who I don't know nothing about that flag. I bet you've seen the rainbow flag, haven't you?
And deal with it, nigga.
Hey, y'all, I bet you he knows the rainbow flag. I bet you he knows the rainbow flag when you see that. I don't know no Juneteenth. I ain't never seen no Juneteenth flag. I bet you he knows the rainbow flag. While he's booty line dancing with a bunch of fellas out there, I bet you he knows that one. Yeah, when they sitting up here bouncing another dude on their laps, when they sitting up here getting a lap line dance from another dude, I bet you they know that flag. You don't have to educate them about it. I ain't never seen it right here. All right, dude, just get back over there at Howard and see if you can bounce another fella on your lap. See if you can do that instead. Everybody ain't gonna make it, y'all. Everybody is not gonna make it. Please understand, everyone's not gonna make it. You have this dream and fantasy that we can all make it. No, we can't all make it. Everybody's not gonna make it. It's just not physically possible. Everybody can't make it. Some of these fellas out here, then put your hand up on my hip. Then you dip, we dip. Okay, I ain't never seen this flag before. Okay, while they wrapping their hands on other dudes' hips. All right. So it's just, bro, I'm not surprised you don't know. I'm not surprised. That's what I'm saying. You didn't bring no strong, stiff men here for me. I ain't never seen this flag. This is not the strong, stiff men flag. This is bull jive. Why y'all showing it? It's a waste of time. Why y'all showing this damn thing? Why we? I mean, he claims he went, he's claiming Howard, y'all. He's claiming Howard, claiming Princeton. I ain't never seen this flag. That's why I'm sitting up here saying this. Wait a minute, dude. Why are you claiming Howard then? Why are you claiming Howard? You ain't seen it. I ain't never seen this flag. Okay. I bet you he's seen the rainbow flag and baby oil. What? But I ain't seen this flag. No, this flag is not prominently featured at the Diddy party. That's probably why you haven't seen it, sir. This flag is not prominently featured at the Diddy party. So when y'all shave your legs, when you all shave your legs and put on your jeggings and go tiptoeing up the stairs, no, this flag will not be featured at the Diddy party. It was never there. I don't get it. That's probably why you don't recognize it. There were a number of flags in Diddy's suite. This was not one of them. I was at Howard, I imagine. They ain't played that. All right. So I just wanted you all to understand that it's not just the Africans. It's not just them. Just be aware there's a whole bunch of folks out there that the idea that we have solid cultural real estate that they can no longer deny, or now it's like, now they're kind of unhappy about it. So it's driving some people off the deep end. They're not dealing with it well. They're not dealing with it well. However, you might disagree. Therefore, we're going to go ahead and open up the link to the Zoom there. It's pinned to the bottom of the chat room. You are all more than welcome to go ahead and dig in, give us a call, sit back, smile, and dial. This will be your opportunity to do so. In the meantime, I'd like to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out to Cyberdyne100. Keeping it 100, we appreciate that. To Keenan, Clinton, my man Mr. Richburg, Rita Chapman, Arthur Akello, User, Phila Speaks, Tom Slick, and everybody else here. Thank you very much for your support tonight. We appreciate that. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we'll see about taking your calls on Zoom and more. This is the Black Channel.
The teacher, knowledge on the block. Got the kids learning, minds open like a lock. Books and skills from the east to the west. Bringing education, yeah, we're simply the best. Classes on fire, brains burning with desire. Innovation driving like a tire through the mire. Math, science, history, we got the whole range. Kids hitting new heights, teachers making a change. Used to be the teacher, stacking up the grades. Future bright shining, no need for no shades. Got the youth thriving, moving up the ladder. Smart and sharp, brains growing fatter. Lessons so lit, yeah, they stay in a blaze. Every mind sharp like a sword in the haze. Mr. B in the house breaking knowledge chains. Education kingpin, we ripping the gains. Used to be the teacher.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slavery and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. Yeah, we are discussing here about who Juneteenth really belongs to. And you'll notice from time to time I talk about this. I talk about who does it really belong to because I predicted years ago about this. And of course, folks are going to try to hijack what belongs to us because we're the only thing moving. What's your culture? Our culture is movement. Our culture is progress. We actually have some. We can actually show you our progress. Yeah, they hate it when the conversation turns to facts. Let's go ahead and jump over here on Zoom. Everybody here's on Zoom here. Just go ahead and hang tight here. We're going to get to everybody. Let me go ahead and see if I can get up here first. See if we can get Brother Elijah up here on Zoom. Brother Elijah, what's on your mind?
Hey, good evening, Big Brother Jason. Hey, brother, excellent broadcast tonight as usual. I just want to know this. I'm confused because you, Tariq, and Professor Black Truth explained this quite a few times that if Ghana got in front of the reparations, we would never see it. And I'm trying to figure out, why are they so gun-ho on trying to get our reparations? Are they trying to trying to get more ostrich eggs to eat or more bushmeat to fry up? What are they trying to do? Or they won't, I'm pretty sure they're not going to buy any smell goods or deodorant with it. So what are they really trying to do, Big Brother?
Okay, well, facetiousness to the side.
Yes, sir.
When they come up with their list of demands, which really not demands, it's their list of requests and begging here. All right, let's take a look over what Drop Site News said it was. Formal apologies from governments and institutions that benefited from slavery. Now, let's be clear about a few things. What is your culture? Our culture is putting together the legal framework that makes these things possible.
Yes, sir.
Malcolm X talked about this decades ago. They did not want to go to the UN because they were just guessing their way through it. They wanted to go to the UN because this is part of making a legal case. I need to remind you all that, for example, when the Nazis were being tried,
yes, sir,
in the international courts, please remember one of the crimes that they were being charged with was eugenics. And they were being told, oh, one of your crimes was practicing eugenics against,
yes,
your Jewish prisoners. To which they were like, well, how can you charge us with that when the Supreme Court of the United States had legalized sterilization, practicing eugenics? So it's like, this is legal. Wait a minute, you're telling us this is a crime for us, and meanwhile, your court says it's legal for you. So how is it a crime for us, but it's legal for you? You have to remember, Nazi Germany learned these things from America. So putting together the framework to dismantle them was key. And going to the UN was part of a legal framework, which is why America has been very, very careful not to give a formal apology for slavery. Because any lawyer will tell you, when something happens like at a casino or something, they tell you, if somebody says something, do not say, I'm sorry. Say, I'm sorry you're disappointed. I'm sorry you're upset. I'm sorry you're unhappy. But do not say, I'm sorry, because I'm sorry can be interpreted as a tantamount to an admission of guilt.
Yes, sir.
So if you say I'm sorry, every lawyer will tell you, say I am sorry you're unhappy, I'm sorry you're upset. Do not say I'm sorry. That's tantamount to an admission of guilt. So America has made very clear, very sure not to give a blanket apology for slavery because, well, that's tantamount to an admission of guilt. We saw this back in the 90s with Bill Clinton.
Yes, sir.
When they were covering his speech about that, they said, please understand, he was very careful not to give a blanket apology for slavery, because this back in the 90s, when you figure, oh, this is all, y'all ain't never going to get nothing, that's all been settled. Okay, if that's true, then why is it they were saying it even then? Well, no, they can't say that because that could be interpreted as tantamount to an admission of guilt. Oh, so in other words, you are admitting that you're liable. Thank you for saying you can't say you're sorry, because now you've admitted that, oh, you are liable. Because if you weren't liable, this wouldn't be an issue.
Yes,
oh,
sir.
So you're admitting that you do have liability, or at least that you're afraid you do. So if this were settled and there were no issue, you wouldn't have a problem with that. But you have a problem with it because, oh, you understand, oh, it's not settled. That's why you don't want to say that, because that does open it up, because, yeah, you're acknowledging I could be liable. So I want you all to understand why that apology part, they didn't frame this. You didn't hear any damn African countries talking about this garbage before we went to the UN and started making this point. We were the ones who said we needed to have a formal apology for slavery because we understood that's just the foundation for everything else. Right there. And that's thus the reason why they have made a conscious effort to avoid and evade it. So we want a formal apology from the governments and institutions, so that's public and private, that benefited from slavery. Next is financial reparations and compensation. Well, I'll be damned. So let me get this straight. These buck-dancing, ass-kissing African governments and the folks they keep sending over here who are telling us that, well, y'all just need to work harder and kiss some more white ass that work for me, smooch, smooch. Then they're telling us they want tangibles. So they told you and me, you guys need to study and get your scholarship. Okay. Well, but for them, they don't want studying and scholarships. They want tangibles.
Yes, sir.
Oh, they want somebody to cut the check, even though they were co-conspirators and collaborators in the crime. So, yeah, there's that part.
Big brother, let me ask you a question, because you've been talking about reparations for a long time, and I'm forming, and it made me want to think about this question. Do you believe? I could be wrong. Your answer is far more superior than mine. Do you believe that the reason the United States never cut the check to us, and they cut the check to the Native Americans, the Jews, the Japanese, because the check we would get would be pretty much would break the American Treasury's bank?
No, that is a false statement, because they could have done this decades ago.
Yes, sir.
They could have done this then, and it wouldn't have cost nearly as much when you had far fewer of us.
Yes, sir.
So that actually could have been taken care of decades ago, and it would have cost a whole lot less. Whole lot less. So Special Field Order 15, you could have taken care of that then.
Yes,
40
sir.
acres and a mule, you were giving away whole states. Take a look at the Homestead Act. They were giving away basically the expansion of whole states. No, this was a spiritual thing to exclude us from that. It had nothing to do with what they could do. You have a nation whose core principle is white supremacy. So you see, you've already ethnically cleansed the Native Americans. Many of them were us, actually. And so with these other folk, that wasn't refuting the core principle of the country. Doing that for us, that would be refuting their core principle.
Okay.
So that's what that would have been.
Yes, sir.
All right, let me go ahead and kick Elijah out of here, because while I'm doing my explanations here, he wants to butt in with more questions. So he's done for the weekend. All right, financial reparations and compensation. So notice they think they slick. This is what you're doing, tethering and piggybacking off of every damn thing that we do. They want apologies from governments and institutions. Then they want to get a check from governments, reparations, and institutions, compensation. But that's not enough. Did you notice that isn't enough? Then they're saying we want a global reparations fund. So first you said you want reparations, then you say a global reparations fund. Okay. Now here's the next part. Debt relief for affected countries. So you want folks to let you out of the damn deals that you signed because of your own ignorance and incompetence and stupidity. I'm being honest about it. You see, if you had come and fooled with us, that wouldn't be necessary. You all want to go sign these slave record deals. We will deal with this ourselves, niggas. We do not need your American niggas coming over here telling us what to do. We will handle this ourselves, niggas. Okay, well, this was your attempt to handle it yourselves. You dug yourselves into a bunch of debt. Now, and by the way, this isn't going to help you. The IMF isn't the issue. You owe the same huge amounts to the Chinese and the Asians. You owe the same damn amount to them, so that's not going to help you. You think you're going to get the rest of the world to give you enough money to give back to the Chinese that they ain't going to run everything. No, that's not going to work. You're already basically 3 feet down the toilet. That's not going to work. But it does show you all the bad agreements that they made, trying to rely on their genius and their aptitude, all these bad agreements that they made. Please remember, Johnny Cochran was very much alive. They could have come and dealt with some real players and real hitters that could have gotten this done. You had whole nation states that should have been getting together to bring their case to the UN. Okay, they weren't lining up with Johnny Cochran to do that. None of them did. Now they see us making progress and, can we hijack what you niggas doing? And tell them to cancel all of these debts that we owe for all the bad deals that you signed. They've got gold, they got minerals, they've got cocoa, and now they want to be let off for all the bad deals they signed. The return of looted cultural artifacts and human remains. Good luck with that one. Legal mechanisms to advance reparations claims. So that's kind of redundant. That's really kind of redundant. Unless you're saying that you want them to set up offices or something to make it where you can file the paperwork process. But like I say, this is what they think they're doing. This is what they're trying to do. And all of these are things that we pioneered. These are all arguments that we've been making now for a century, and that none of them did that. None of them. They were not involved. They were not involved. They were not a part of it. That wasn't what they were doing. So just be aware of exactly what you're looking at there. Let me go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom again. Let's see if we can get Tanisha up here on Zoom for me. At least we're going to try to. All right, Tanisha, let me see if you're there. There you go. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mr. Jason. So I just wanted to, so it was a question you asked earlier really quick. It was on my mind. You asked about you need a short bus theme. And I'm like, okay, Mr. Jason should use short bus shorty for that. But I wanted to just say thank you. I'm not able to chat with everyone in the chat yet. And hello, everybody. I'm just wanted to say I'm so thankful that I found you I'm older and I've got children, 20 and 21-year-old children who are in law school, and one is in engineering. But I'm just so grateful that I found you, because when I was younger and as I was growing older, asking my parents, exactly who I am and where I come from, they didn't really explain that to me. So I've been yearning and searching to find out who I am and where I actually come from for so long. And it's easy to go to YouTube and find people out there who are looking to give information just for clicks and views, and they're not giving the right information. I've been searching for a long time, and I'm just so thankful that I found you and that I'm able to get the information that I've been searching for so that I can instill that into my children, especially my son, who's 20 years old. He's my only boy, my youngest. And because it's hard for a woman to raise a man by herself. And I was left a single mother by force, not by choice. My husband was killed, or he was unalived after 28 years by the cops here in Columbus, Ohio, July 8, 2023, unarmed. And I had so much rage, and I still got a lot of anger in me. And I'm trying to keep that and hold that in because I'm trying to be strong, especially for my son, because I've seen him change in the last 2 years in a way that I don't want him to be. You know, if I want him to take that anger and do it the right way. And I'm glad that I found you and the family here. And I'm really so happy, Mr. Jason, when I'm able to chat and be able to ask questions, because I've got a lot of questions. I got a notepad over here, maybe two notepads full of notes and things. But I just wanted to say, I wasn't going to come up here. I just wanted to say that I'm so thankful that I found you and that I'm just grateful. I'm grateful I found you. And
well, I'm very glad you did here, sister. So I hope you've learned a lot from us. When I started doing this 2 decades ago, I wanted to make a lighthouse where you all had a place to go to. And it's taking consistency, but I know you felt like you were the only person on the earth who felt that way. You were the only person who understood it. You kind of felt like you were by yourselves, but I hope that it's shown you that you were not alone. You were not by yourself. You are not crazy, and you're not doing it on your own. So thank you so much for joining us, sister. I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and get one more thing up here. I want to get one more thing up here because I want to show something. I'm going to show something here right quick. Let me take one more call here because if y'all are wondering, I'm doing something in the background here. I want to do something here. Let me see if I can get Dab up here because there's something in particular I want to get a hold of. All right, we got Dab here on Zoom. Dab, what's on your mind?
Hey, Jason. Wonderful broadcast. These conversations always strike a nerve with me, simply because, well, I'm a former tether. I've been rocking with you since 2019, give or take. And it strikes a nerve because I wish I'd, caught on to this sooner in my journey. I've been in the States since 2004. Black man from Trinidad and Tobago. And I grew up, I'm an 80s baby, so I grew up seeing, other Trinis and other Caribbean folk cosplaying as American. It's always asinine to hear people talk about how, foundational Black Americans have no culture. When the name itself, foundational, not just foundational to the US, but foundational to all Black people as a whole. You all set the tone for everything that we do, everything that we say. But it's a shame that, one, that a lot of Black people, back where I was born at and in the Caribbean don't consider themselves Black. They rather call themselves by whatever their native country is, whether it's, Bajan, Jamaican, whatever the case is. And then, you see like for example, you talk about in 2022 when the Queen died, I was in Jamaica. I saw firsthand where Jamaicans were crying, they were boo-hooing because the Queen was dead. And then you look and you see all the Chinese owning land there. It's happening all over the Caribbean. It's happening even where I was born.
I'm very glad you mentioned that, brother, because this is what I wanted to talk about here. This is what I wanted to talk about. I want to show you all an article here from the BBC. It's an article from January earlier this year. I didn't get a chance to get into this, but it dovetails off of more recent events. Let me go ahead and pop this up on you all screen so you can see it here. The title is The Caribbean Island Where Locals Can't Access the Beach. Then you start reading what it says. Famous for its white sand and gin-colored waters, Jamaica is the quintessential Caribbean beach destination, but less than 1% of the island's coastline is accessible to residents.
Nigga, what?
So much for the spirit of Garvey. Less than 1%. Let me read this for y'all. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I just want you to understand. In 2020, that same sandy stretch was sold to a private developer to become a multi-million-dollar luxury resort and residential development. A cement wall went up and the beach was closed to the locals. Fishermen living in the nearby community of Steertown were suddenly cut off from the waters when they launched boats for generations. Access to the popular local swimming hole, the Roaring River, was also blocked when the government The government sold the surrounding land to the China Harbor Engineering Company. What? To build private residences. So not content to sell out to the Europeans, they said, let's get some Asians up in here. Not in 1726, not in 1826, not in 1926, in 2026. Quote, how can you use a beach or a river for hundreds of years and within a matter of days, you no longer have access to it? Said Devin Taylor, co-founder of the grassroots organization Jamaica Beach Birthright Environmental Movement. For many international travelers, Jamaica is synonymous with white sand beaches and the swaying palm trees. In 2024, a record 4.3 million tourists flocked to the island. 4.3 million people. That's more than the population of several states in America, by the way, y'all. There's whole states in America, including mine, Louisiana, that don't have 4 million people in them. In case you all didn't know. So you got whole states that don't have more than 2 million people. And Jamaica gets that in tourists. Tourists flocked to the island, and while many came to splash in its gin-clear waters, by the way, Jamaica has some of the most beautiful beachfront in the world, by the way. We got all this polluted ass trash water over here. Jamaica's actually got clean water, which of course is why they're going over there and gangstering their way through it. Of the island's 1,022 kilometers of shoreline, just 0.6 is a public and freely accessible to the local residents, according to Jabin. Out of over 1,000 kilometers, less than 1% is public and freely accessible to local residents. The privatization of Jamaica's beaches has been unfolding for the past 7 decades, but as the number of gated resorts and foreign-owned developments have multiplied in the past 5 years. 5 years. The closure of locally beloved places like Mammy Bay.
Nigga, what?
Yeah, y'all, the apropos named Mammy Bay has accelerated. Today, only 40% of Jamaica's $4.3 billion of tourist revenue stays in Jamaica. And all-inclusive beach resorts are booming. By 2030, 10,000 new rooms are expected across the island. I'm not talking about what they got today, y'all. They're talking about by 2030, there will be 10,000 more hotel rooms expected across the island, many of which including a 1,000-room Hard Rock Hotel and the 1,350-room Moon Palace, the Grand in Montego Bay, are located on the coast and will further restrict Jamaicans' access to their own coastline. We ain't got a damn thing to learn here about fighting white supremacy. We don't have a damn thing to learn. And I'm about to show you what the real damn shame of it is. By the way, they go on to say that much of this phenomenon, this is from the BBC. This article's from the BBC, y'all. Much of this phenomenon is due to a relic from the nation's near century as a British Crown colony. The 1956 Beach Control Act, and I'm going to tell you all this is wrong, this is not true, because we covered common law last night. But the 1956 Beach Control Act that gives the state ownership of the coastline and stipulates there's no public right for Jamaicans to swim or access the beach without a license. That law continues to enable the government to transfer coastal areas into private hands. When you cut Jamaicans off from the sea, from traditional fishing practices and livelihoods, you're killing the community. You think? I got a question here. What do you do? What do you do under these circumstances, people? How do you react? How do you respond? Who do you channel under these circumstances to be able to deal with this, to confront this? Who do you channel in yourself for that? What do you look to? I'm not asking these as rhetorical, poetic questions. I mean this literally. Now, in the face of this, what do you refer to respond to this? Because they're telling you that, well, we've made a law that says you don't have access to your own land. We've made a law that says that. Well, for you as black folk, what they're going to tell you is, well, you need to go talk to the government and, just no turning up, and you need to be civilized about these things here. Don't cause any problems. I'm very glad they have this thing. Very glad that they're saying that. Very glad they have that to say there, because you see, I took a look here. This is in the news from Albania. Albanians tore down barriers at Kokomo Beach in southern Albania, declaring that the country's beaches belong to the people, not the oligarchs. As opposition to the controversial Kushner-Trump resort project intensifies. Oh, so this is how they're dealing with Trump and friends over there in Albania. Public anger is spreading over the privatization of public land and protected coastal areas. Albania is not for sale. So what you all are seeing on your screens, you see here, this is dated by them June 21st. Oh, that's today. Happy Father's Day in Albania. And for this Father's Day, they're taking their beaches back by hand. They're taking their beaches back by force. By the way, I see some American flags in there. So I see some Albanian flags. I see an American flag. And yeah, okay, well, yeah, this is how they're dealing with folk telling them that you don't have access to your own beaches because, well, we rich folks said you don't. So you don't have that. Meanwhile, in Jamaica, at this point here, basically the beach is gone. I mean, less than 1% of the beach is gone. The beach is not on its way. What do you have? Somebody's backyard you're going to stand in? The beach is gone. The beach is gone. This is the cost of being off code. But you know what you can do in Jamaica? There's hella weed and hella white women.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no.
You can have all the weed and all the scraggly, cracked out white women you can handle. Now, that you can have. There's no restriction on that. You can't stand on your own damn beach. But there's plenty of white women you can get blunted out and drugged up with. Now that you do have. This Bookman Duddy is somewhere doing somersaults in his grave. Wherever he's buried at, he is somewhere, spinning in his grave. He's not just rolling over, he's spinning. Here's what he's doing. The spirit of Garvey. Why did Garvey have to leave? Because this message couldn't take root. It couldn't take root. If there's a damn time to turn up, this is it. No, here, hold this, smoke this. This is our culture. We smoke the ganja, this culture. Okay, have you ever heard of the damn opium wars? Shut this nigga up. Bob Marley smoked this. Okay, how'd you get with that? How'd that turn out? Shut up, nigga. You need to mellow down. No, you need to turn the hell up. So, brother, nobody is going to like what I'm about to say next. They're not going to like this. Jamaica's gone.
And deal with it, nigga.
Jamaica is not on its way. It's not on its way out. It's not if y'all don't turn around. Jamaica's gone, man. It's gone. This isn't my opinion. This is math. Less than 1%. This is math. You got people who weren't even around. Brother, if I see one more damn Jamaican talking about the damn legitimacy of the Indians being there, I'm talking about the East Indians. If I see one more damn Jamaican arguing with me about the legitimacy of the Indians being on Jamaican soil. Brother, you can't. It's one thing to be on North America. Do you realize how gigantic a landmass North America is? Brother, you can't do that in Jamaica. You'll get swallowed whole. You can't have people talking the same way in such a small place like Jamaica. They'll swallow it whole, and they have. And they did. And now you got folk who weren't even there a century ago. Hello, I'm Chinese. Chinese people got more of the damn coastline than Jamaicans do. And it didn't take them 5 decades. It took 5 years. In reality, they started like a decade ago, but you get my point. It didn't take them a century. It took a decade. This is the cost of being off code. It really is. I'm just going to tell y'all right now, the only thing y'all still quote unquote got is the slums. You know, the places that the tourists don't go and ain't allowed to go in. That's it. That's what, quote unquote, that's what you still got is the slums. But, you know, I've been to practically every coastal resort. And in America, for example, my folks down there in Florida, Miami, Ocean, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, Myrtle Beach, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake Bay. Brother, when they build those hotels on those beach fronts, they're like giant walls. Anybody who has been to any of those resort towns, you can't do it in California because they're too close to the airport. So you can't do that there the same way. They're really kind of wacky. But on the East Coast, brother, they're like the giant walls from Attack on Titan. I mean, they just build one next to the other, and you can't even see the ocean anymore. All you can see is the big ass hotels they built and the big ass resort. You can't even see the ocean anymore. If you're lucky, there's like some concrete walkway that goes in between some of the hotels. You can go to the beach. But even still, now, I'm not going to say you can't go on the beaches because for the most part, the beaches are pretty much public. You know, having access directly from the hotel to the beach is a little bit different. But what I am saying is that from the street, you can't see anything but the hotels. You can't. They're just great, big, huge walls. I mean, your kids won't even be able to see it. At least we got access to the beach. There, they were like, yeah, that's asking too much. Just tell them they can't even get on the beach at all. This is our beach now. You mean this Chinese developer? Yeah, this is mine. It was yours. Now it's mine. This is the cost of being off code. I'll let you have the last word.
Sir, you're absolutely right. I mean, this colonialism is that of the mind. They should have long gone and fought for those beaches. I spent 80 days in Jamaica and I drove around, and you're absolutely right. Like zero access to the beaches, but it's happening in other places too. It's happening in Barbados. You see the western coastline of Barbados. They have little pockets of public beaches available still, but for the majority, what you said about those little pathways to a public beach is occurring. Major hotels on the west coast, the southern coast of Barbados,
Turks and Caicos.
Oh, yeah,
these places where your rappers and stuff be talking about them. I want y'all to know they have served as the marketing wing to popularize some of these places. And yeah, brother, you're right. It's not Jamaica is the worst case scenario, but it's coming soon to a Caribbean island near you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then one last thing, my last word. You talked about weed and white women. I personally think, and full disclosure, I used to smoke weed and I stopped 2023 when I decided to get my CDL through real help. Thank you. I think that the whole marijuana thing, they legalized it in the Caribbean, well not the Caribbean, but Jamaica and other islands as an experimentation, and they started doing it in little pockets here in the US to see if it would kind of catch on. But again, the resilience of FBA would not allow this drug to take hold and take root within your psyche so that you would be overrun and be taken over, as unlike what's occurring in the Caribbean. So they have their weed, they have their white women, but guess what? There are no beaches, there barely are no land, and the ones that do have land, they're selling out their land so that they can come here, and that's what it is. Jamaica, like Barbados, is one of those places that if you have a little money, you could actually go and buy property without having to be a citizen.
What they do,
That's my
brother,
last-
is these colonizers, what they do when they come among folk that they're outnumbered by or whatever, they go to work to see how do they weaponize your culture against you. They go to check and see if you got any weak spots in there, and how do we take those and exacerbate them to cosmic proportions. Oh, you all like to smoke drugs? Let's crank that up as far as it'll go. Oh, you all like to have unprohibited sex? Let's crank that up as far as it'll go. Oh, you folks are religious? Let's crank that up as far as it'll go. Whatever it is, you got a weakness, they're going to identify it and see if they can multiply it as far as they can. And next thing you know, you've left the resources unprotected, you left the front door unlocked, and he's running the damn place. And that's the strategy right there. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, y'all, I mean, it's sad. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. And just take a look in Albania. This is their response to it when it happened to them. And by the way, you didn't get to 99% of the damn coastline either. You didn't get there. They're like, they are hypersensitive to these things. Just as soon as you started doing that, they say, we turn it up. We turn it up right here, right now. We don't give a damn what the government say. We going at it right here, right now. We going there. There are lessons to be learned in here. Lessons to be learned. Let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom again. Let me see if I can get Pariah up here on Zoom for me. All right, Pariah, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on, Jason? Great broadcast. Also, I just want to let you know, happy Father's Day. I know that you don't have any biological children, but I'm saying you've been a great, surrogate father to a lot of us out here. And your words, the wisdom throughout the years. Definitely glad that I came across your channel. As far as the Ghanaian celebration on Juneteenth, just imagine if us as FBAs were to do the same thing over here and reenact how it really went down over there in Africa. And their response to that, depicting that, I just know that it wouldn't be well received. And also, and you correct me if I'm wrong about the Jamaican, their culture of fleeing, I believe has a lot to do with why, their island is being taken over like that as well. I believe if I'm not mistaken, there's more Jamaicans living outside of Jamaica than there are Jamaicans living in Jamaica.
Well, when we talk about the culture of fleeing, just remember that's the tether practice of it, and that's the whole point of it. You do have a lot of riders in Jamaica. The problem is the riders are not the government, the riders are not the power structure, and the riders are not controlling the culture, and that's the real big problem. Please understand, you can have a culture of fleeing with a minority of the population actually doing any running. So fleeing is what they're doing. They're fleeing right there on their own soil. When these folks come through here and just gangster the whole coastline like that, you're fleeing while you're standing here. So that's when we talk about that's a culture of doing that. And once again, it's not like us over here. We are 14% of the population in the white supremacist, white dominated geographic area. Hey, y'all are 99% of the damn population.
Right.
Wait a minute. There is no white supremacist government. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry there. I'm sorry. You all are still subjects to the British Crown. Oh, yeah. One more thing here for the moronic jackasses. Oh, I'm rubbing your faces in it. For all you clown coons out there who tried to argue with me 4-5 years ago when Queen Elizabeth II died. I'm going to remind you here. Oh, there were clowns who were trying to argue with me. Jason, you wrong. We ain't British subjects. We getting ready to leave I said, you're members of the Commonwealth. We gonna leave the Commonwealth. How'd that work out? Hey, folks, going on half a decade later, Queen Elizabeth dead. Have y'all left the Commonwealth yet? We gonna have, can't you see the headlines? We gonna have a vote on it. I said, you lying asses. It's not gonna be any vote on that. You're gonna be right here. Hey, brother, half a decade later, who's right? The folks who tried to argue with me, you can't find a one of them tonight. See, you can have clowns on the internet saying stupid stuff. You're not going to make progress listening to some stupid jackass. Somebody's got to be having the truth around here. Hey, folks, who was right about this, Jason or the jackasses? Because I said they're not going anywhere. I named them as members of the Commonwealth. I told you they identify as subjects of the crown and that is their culture, especially the politicians. Going on half a decade later, brother, how'd that pan out? Who was right? And there they still are. And what do you know? They stuck around long enough, brother. At this point, does it matter? If their, quote, parliament voted to leave the Commonwealth tomorrow, you've already sold off the resources. Mm-hmm. They don't need your, quote, government anymore. The corporations are the government now. Yep. Those British and American corporations are the government now. So your parliament is actually an obstacle. At that point, once they've got the resources, they have no use for your democratically elected government anymore. Matter of fact, the only thing your democratically elected government can do is change that and take it back. So once we've got what we wanted, let's knock y'all off and let everything stay the way it is. So you're not going to find any of those clowns who were so vocal a few years ago. Amazingly, you can't find any of them. So anyone who was placing their bets that, they'll be right, Jason will be wrong. Okay, how'd that work out? They're quiet tonight. I'll let you have the last word.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely right. I remember seeing a video recently circulating. It was a Jamaican lady. She was in Parliament. I guess she was, speaking, and she was trying to speak in patois. And the lady, it was another Jamaican lady that silenced her and told her she can't speak their native tongue in this arena or whatnot. I just found that to be crazy. But also, in closing, FBA culture, is rooted in, truth telling and freedom fighting. And that's why a lot of people don't like when we come in the building, because typically we have that morality that we carry with us. And it just makes everyone else that's not on code at unease. So I'll land my plane there, man.
You know what? They feel real easy with none of their coastline left. So the folks who feel comfortable ain't got no coastline left. Those of us who are gotten used to being uncomfortable, we still got ours. Ain't that right in Bruce's Beach? What? Oh, brother, hey, we took ours back.
Yeah.
Should have held it and kept it. But by the way, we got ours. You see us claiming land back. You see us getting wins. I'll let that speak for itself. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We doing stories about what we getting back. And meanwhile, they doing stories about what they're losing. So I'm going to let you coach the team. So the guy who's got 1% of the coastline, less than 1% of the coastline, I'm going to let you coach the team? No. You sit down, be quiet, and let us win these championships. That's what you do. Because right now, you have a record of losing. You have a record of losing. You are the St. Louis Blues is what you are. Let's go ahead and get back over here on Zoom again right quick. Let me see if we can get Maurice up here on Zoom. Maurice, what's on your mind?
Jason, how you doing? What I want to basically say, I took your advice as far as basically seeing about different policies. You had a lawyer about a week ago, and he was basically saying how basically difficult it is when it comes to basically the bar association, which I definitely agree with, because I try to basically reach out to somebody else to try to pass legislation. And also, I know you was talking about reparations, and I was doing my research about the capital markets. And when it comes to, we're definitely owed not only basically stolen labor, but also basically stolen equity when it came to the capital markets and, basically the bond markets. I found out it was like 3.5 billion in basically like 1860. So that's the reason why they basically owe trillions and trillions of dollars. Like I said, I try to basically like take your advice and try to see different things too, but it's very hard, and I definitely have some ideas as far as basically working with Black psychologists and try to basically create something where we can, when it comes to police accountability, where we could basically have like some sort of like evaluation, psychological evaluation for these different cops and other different ideas, especially with Carmelo Anthony, and different ways we could try to get different different like laws and policies where we could basically like safeguard ourselves when it comes to institutional racism. So I wanted to basically ask if it would be okay if I could basically send you those different things to, and if you also have other ideas, because I'm kind of like hitting against a wall because you don't really have a lot of on code brothers and sisters.
Right. That was my whole point about it there, is that the issue is not identifying those things. The issue is having competent operatives for it, which is the point I've been making. Yeah. In the Carmelo Anthony case, for example, brother, once again, that was another example of them throwing the Constitution out the window. I mean, that was a completely unconstitutional trial. They were ignoring Texas law. They were ignoring U.S. law. I mean, that was just a lynching, which is why I said from day one, the judge puts on a gag order. We don't want no cameras. So we essentially, okay, we're going to do this where can't nobody see or oversight. There'll be no public oversight, no public observation. Nobody see anything. And that's not how you do a trial. That's how you do a lynching. So that was the whole point I was making the whole time. So it's not a matter of having things, documented or whatever. It's a matter of a lack of operatives, but also when you understand you're dealing with a system that is lawless. So that's the real point I want you to understand. It's not about, do you have enough of your ducks lined up? It's about you're dealing with a lawless system. Once you have a lawless system, now we have to start taking a look at, okay, how do you deal with a system that's lawless? Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me see if I can get Tiger Wood up here. Tiger Wood, make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on. I'll give you 5 seconds to get that taken care of. Then we got to move on. I can give you 3 more seconds to get that taken care of. We got to move on. Okay. Turn your thing sideways, bro.
Yeah, my frame. I try to get it straight.
Oh, man. He's still working on his life over there. All right, Tiger Wood, what's on your mind?
Yeah, so just want
to. It's been a minute since you checked in with us.
Yeah, it's been a long time. How you doing?
All right, man. This is our Asian brother over here. What's on your mind?
Oh, it's on my mind. It's just been busy advocating for reparations, scheduling meetings with members of Congress, and assisting a colleague in Colorado. He's running for Colorado's House District. I'm so familiar with Jesse Paris, a.k.a. Reparationist. And been supporting him on reparations and just really strategizing to get to reparations as well.
Well, I appreciate that. He's like the anti-Ed Blum, so that's the kind of thing we need right there.
Yes, yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Just a quick question. Just want to ask you quickly, what's your advice to individual allies working with, reparations? I understand that some reparations have different strategies. One says go with the reparations pledge. The other half says the pledge won't be effective to get incumbents and political candidates effective or hold them accountable. Okay, well, here's the thing about it, and I talked about this, especially once Trump got reelected. Yes. Please understand, under the environment and the rules that we're under, the conditions that we're under here, holding up a great big flag that says reparations is not always going to be a good idea, because when you're under sympathetic circumstances, that works. When you're under hostile circumstances, especially when you've got government entities and the media and whatnot against you, becoming more of a target can work when you're agitating, but it also can be a drawback when the winds have changed. And since Trump got reelected, I'm a big advocate of, okay, in a super hostile environment, we need to be able to promote the goals of reparations, even if you don't use the word. Right. And remember, that's how white supremacy has been able to promote itself for the last century and a half. They're doing everything except using the word white, which is the smart way to do it, because it makes it a very, very hard target to hit. It's white supremacy, but can you attack it as that? So the real thing is that when you're dealing with politicians or whatever else, I'm okay with them not using the word reparations at all. As a matter of fact, I think that's a positive in many ways. What I want to know is, are they A, supportive, and B, sympathetic to the goals of it? For example, with Kamala Harris, I didn't even ask about a bill, a law. I didn't ask about any of that. My question to Kamala Harris was, do you support reparations in principle? In principle. That has nothing to do with the law, nothing to do with what you can pass, nothing to do with do you got the votes. Do you support reparations in principle? Bernie Sanders. Bernie said no. Right. I remember he said no.
Elizabeth Warren, do you support reparations? No. Reparations for what? So the real thing is, if you want to get their temperature, do you support reparations in principle?
Principle.
Okay, if they support reparations in principle, if they can't even go far enough to say that, it's not as a law, do you support it in principle? All right, that's the big major step right there, is to get that part of it. Even with the Jasmine Crockett, you don't get that. You don't get forget a vote. Do you support reparations in principle? Just as a principle. Because everybody can talk about Project 2025 or whatever. That wasn't a law. There was no law, no legislation, nothing going on there. That's basically all just asking, do you support this in principle? What does AIPAC do? When AIPAC goes and shakes down your congressmen and your senators, is there any legislation that they're really going to talk to them about? Not really. AIPAC does not go to them and say, here's the piece of legislation, do you support this? They want to know, do you support Israel in principle?
In principle.
Even if you've never gone to Israel, do you support Israel in principle is basically what they're asking. And anybody who can't say that, they're like, okay, you got to go.
Right.
Okay. Going to Israel becomes superfluous at that point. They don't care if you've never been to Israel. They want, as long as you support what they're doing, that's really the goal line they want to get you over. So when you're dealing with politicians, that's the part you want to deal with. Now, the next step is, if they say, well, yes, I support reparations. All right. Then the next question is, what does that mean to you? I'm not asking you what it means to you, Tiger. I'm just saying for them is, okay, when you say that, okay, when we say that we need a common frame of references, what does that mean? All right, that's the next thing, because the next part here is that what are we discussing is reparatory justice? Are you talking about scholarships? We need a reading club, do representation, man, damn that. We're talking about tangibles. There's a reason why I brought this up here tonight, because I was showing there, we're talking about, the building of the Mercedes Stadium and whatnot. And I'm not here to go into, their post necessarily about that. But what I am saying is that, okay, are you talking about steering the dollars? Are you talking about actual tangibles? It can be that we are going to be talking about these things specifically, whether it's city contracts, state contracts, whether it is how we going to move the money. If I ask you about how you feel about reparations, there doesn't have to be a bill or a law. What I'm really asking you is that, are you on the train of tangibles? What we can count and what we can see. I can't see a scholarship. I can't see representation. I can't see, but Jimbo Jangles, I want all of my kids do better, and I just want to have a place to stand. Nigga, sit down. No. So when you talk to politicians and stuff, it's real simple. And once again, I know it can be a little difficult to wrap your head around. We don't even have to use the word reparations. What we want to know is do you understand that first and foremost, we need tangibles. From there, we start looking at laws, policies. Shout out to the late Bob Law, rest in power. It is policies. Donald Trump got into office and day one started whacking out policies, legal or illegal.
Right.
His family got crypto scams and every damn thing else. He went straight for the tangibles. Put in policy when he could, put it in the law, but that's what the hell we're talking about. So first and foremost, do they even agree with us that what we have is an economic tangibles issue?
Economic tangibles.
We don't have a LGBT and immigrant. No, we got an economic tangibles issue. Okay, then going forward is the priority tangibles. Now, you can call it reparations. You can call it compensatory justice. You can call it whatever you want to. Right. At the end of the day, if this politician does not communicate to you clearly that he understands the preeminent primary issue is economic tangibles, we ain't got nothing to talk about. From there, you put together your program, your framework, whatever it is. So I said all that to say, I don't want you to necessarily get stuck on just attacking it from a historical perspective. Oh, we're dealing with this because of slavery, whatever. Yes, we certainly are. I'm not saying that's off the table. What I'm telling you is that you need to have more than one tactic to use for that. I don't care if you say it's for slavery. I don't care if you say it's for Jim Crow. I don't care what you say it's for. I really don't. Right. The real thing is about addressing the issue. So when you talk to him about that, you can talk to him about reparations. That's fine. You can do that. But don't lose sight of what you're there to discuss is the solution. The solution is economic tangibles. If that's not what he's ultimately going to talk about, it doesn't matter. And that's where we get into trouble. They start talking to us about a damn community center and scholarship and all this old garbage.
Right.
That's where it becomes a problem. So think of it in those regards.
Got it. Okay. Thank you for that advice. It's very great. And by the way, a lot of people left Bootsware's campaign for governor. So I just want to give you an update because we tried so hard to get Bootsware on code with lineage-based policies or lineage-based cosplay reparations for American freedom title of slavery.
Butch is a little compromised.
Yeah, so. And so Audra Walton, I'm so familiar, had to resign from the Green Party as the chair of the, I think, Black Caucus. And I told her like ahead of time that it's better to leave the Green Party because it's mostly made of Beckys, Karens, and Brads who dilute lineage-based policies for race-based.
Yeah, man, it's a bit of a crap show over there. It really, really is. They have the Green Party is what happens when all of the pointy-headed kids in the class get together, and when all the outcasts in the class get together and start deciding they're going to do something. And basically cohesion goes out the window because they don't really have a solid ideology driving them. It's when they're coming in the room so badly splintered. These are people who start fighting and arguing with each other over semantics. They'll start arguing with each other about what name you give something. I'm not talking about they just disagree. I'm talking about they're like, if we don't call it this name, I's gone. So there's what happens when the really touchy kids kind of get together. And there isn't anybody who is strong enough, charismatic enough, influential enough to be able to shout them down and shut them up so that you can actually get some work done. Donald Trump got where he is because he could shut up Ted Cruz and Mark Rubio and, Rick Perry and all the rest of them. He can shut them up. And once you can shut them down, you can actually get some stuff done. But when you start everybody, okay, we have to take everybody's opinion. Actually, no, we don't. No, we don't have to take everybody's input. No, we don't. Some of y'all just need to be quiet and roll with the program. And there's where they really go south. But yeah, Butchware is compromised. I did an interview with him.
I remember. I saw that. Yeah.
He did himself no favors. But y'all just be watchful of that. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Yeah, y'all be watchful of that. That's not gonna go for him there. Not gonna go for it. It's not gonna be a good ride. It isn't. I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying, hey, bro, we talked to him and y'all wanted to see what he was about and see where he was at. And we saw what you were about and we saw what you were at. And you got a different program and different agenda from us. So we're going to let you ride your agenda out. So we're going to let you do that. In the chat room, Andre, please don't make a nuisance of ourselves here. There's a reason for that. Please don't have me start getting folk together and comparing boots on the ground. I don't respect lip service. I respect foot service. So if you got something to say about my callers and whatnot, then I start asking, wait a minute, I got to compare boots on the ground, dude. For real. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Alistair up here. Alistair hadn't had Alistair call in for a little bit. So some of them are coming out the woodwork on me here tonight. All right, Alistair, what's on your mind?
Yes. How you doing, Brother Jason? Happy Father's Day and also happy Juneteenth and everything. First, I just want to say that I'm glad you brought up that subject with the situation in Jamaica because my father happens to be Jamaican. And 9 years ago, when we were going over there for my uncle's funeral, he couldn't move into one of these top end resorts and everything else because they were reserved for the wealthy, rich people and everything else. And even though he was born in Jamaica and he had been living in the United States for so long and everything else, we went to a nice resort, but it was basically kind of blocked off and everything else. And I got to tell you something too. Let's call it like it is. A lot of these Jamaicans and politicians, they're into white women and women and men and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. You know, you have to be careful about your politicians. A lot of them, they're not the smart kids in class. They're certainly not most principled. They're just the most audacious, and audacious doesn't mean that they're not a sexual pervert or deviant or whatever. However, brother, what you're saying is correct, although I want to put an adjustment on about what that means. They're into white men or white women. You're right. They're into King Charles and Queen Elizabeth. That's the part I need you all to understand.
Yeah.
They have been mentally and emotionally colonized. I said it years ago, and a lot of folk didn't want to hear it. Remember, go back to that program I did when Queen Elizabeth II died, y'all. Go back and listen to that program. You had a bunch of Jamaicans. They weren't happy with me. They were trying to push back on it. They were trying to argue, Jason, it ain't like that. I'm like, brother, you're deluding yourself. You're deluding yourself. If y'all had riders like this wouldn't be like this in the first damn place. So you're lying to yourself. You just think you're lying to me, but you're lying to yourself. Brother, they've been colonized mentally and emotionally. That Commonwealth of Britain thing, that's not symbolic. Okay, for those of you who don't know, if you've never been to Britain, or you don't talk to folk in Britain, man, the Jamaicans is heavy fleeing over there.
Yeah.
You think it's bad in America. I mean, half the black folk in Britain, they either come from Nigeria or Jamaica. Literally those two places. Literally those two. Over here in America, they come from all over the place. In Britain, no, it's Jamaica or Nigeria. That's it.
That's why England, that's why we got a whole bunch of black soccer players playing for England too.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens. They go there for a reason. So far beyond anything else, what I'm telling you is that they didn't go to England for no reason. They went there because they identify with that. So there's a reason why you see these black folks show up in only a few certain places. They'll show up in America, England, or France. And where were the colonizers? Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah.
America, England, and France. So they're not there by accident. So they're going there because they identify with Her Majesty the Queen, His Majesty the King. They identify with that. And all the way up through their politics, these are people who want to be approved of by their actual rulers, King Charles and, the Prince William and the rest of them. That's who they want approval of. The rest of you are really just obstacles and annoyances. You're pests. Yep. You're not the ones they want to really deal with. So as long as they're approved of by the real folk they want to be in with, because a lot of them are looking forward to, the wealth is moving behind the scenes, and a lot of them are hoping that once they get out of office or whatever, they can get picked up by some English bank or something like that, and off they go. So that's what's really going on.
Yeah, and don't forget too, in 1980 when Michael Manley lost, he lost to a guy who was born in Boston, Massachusetts.
You're on the wrong side of history. You're on the wrong side of events. This is what they're going for. So it's a cultural dynamic. And once again, you shouldn't have to wake up one day and then lost 99.4% of your coastline there. Do I sound like I'm just killing your high and I'm just a party pooper and I'm just a wet blanket when you've lost 99.6% of your coastline? Put the damn joint down. You can't afford to be weeded out on a battlefield. Ain't no battlefield, man. You need to calm down. There's no battlefield. Bumbaclata. What is wrong with them? That's the problem, these Yankees. They sound like a southerner too. You sound like a Louisiana hillbilly. What is it? They back that ass up? Is that what you do? Okay. Do I sound like I'm a party pooper now? Do I sound like I'm just a wet blanket now?
It's the truth. It's the truth.
And I'm just saying, bro, when the only thing you got left is the slums, because let me be very, very clear. The difference between us and the tether class is we're not sitting up here going on Jamaican soil talking about how the white folk need to run things and y'all Jamaicans is messed up. I'm not standing on Jamaican soil defending white supremacy. I'm not sitting on American soil defending it. I'm not defending any of that garbage. I'm saying what Dr. John Henry Clark said. If I got something to say for y'all, is you need to get your damn house in order to the extent you can. Because if you keep doing it, you won't have a house. Oh, what do you know? You ain't got a beach. You don't have a beach now. And what I'm saying is that if the only thing you got left is the slums, because for anybody who's never been to Jamaica, you understand how, if you never understand how it works, everything else is there's basically the resort areas and then there's everything else. And that's essentially what it is. There's the resort areas where the tourists go, and then there's literally everything else. And Mexico is very similar, actually. There's the resort areas run by the cartels, and then there's everything else. You want to get weed and stuff, you can venture outside the resorts. You take your life in your hands, but you can venture out there. And what I'm saying is that that's where the people are, but that's not where the money is. There's no money there. The concentrated pockets of poverty and whatnot. And if that's all you're going to be dealing with, so let me get this straight. There's billions of dollars is on the coastline. The billions of dollars does not permeate to the interior, to the masses. The billions of dollars is on the coastline, and all that's going to get is being vacuumed up by foreigners. Mm-hmm. Including those of us who are Americans who go down there. That's us too. We dropping our dollars, but we're not going, to the local mom and pop shop in Jamaica. We're there in the tourist areas. That's where we at. We're there. We're there for the beaches, and that money doesn't really trickle down to nobody else. So that's the real problem, is that you've been economically strangled with a joint in your hands.
That's right. I hope I'm wrong, Brother Jason, but in the next 10, 15 years, you're going to start seeing people losing land and resources out there in Jamaica, including some of my relatives' place out there.
You don't want to open that.
I don't.
You don't want to open that box, because there's the other part that I didn't mention.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about how beautiful the beaches are in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And you're right. There's two other aspects they don't really readily discuss. Number one, remember that Jamaican interior I was just telling you all about? Jamaica's got some of the most beautiful interior waterfalls, mountains, hills, hillside areas. Mm-hmm. If you've ever been to those, assuming you can make it out, if you've ever seen those,
Dunn's River Falls.
They're going to send in a squad of dudes with AR-15s to go clear out the yokos. They're going to clear them out. That's going to take an afternoon to clear them out. And you talk about the mountains and the hills and the waterfalls and the rivers. And I ain't even named the weed yet.
Nigga, what?
I haven't even named the weed yet. Brother, your American pharmaceutical companies, your rubber companies in America don't make rubber in America. They get it in Liberia. Your fruit companies don't get the fruit in America. They get it from South America. They have no need for weed in the United States. As a matter of fact, they would like for it to be separated from the United States so they can monopolize the market and have it all off in Jamaica. And we geographically cordon it off and control it. So do you see, when we talk about resources, the beach is just the beginning, people. Mm-hmm. Jamaica got plenty more to rape. There's plenty more that they can come rape in Jamaica. The beach is just the beginning. And now that you have shown them proof of concept that you will let them take the whole beach, at this point, brother, when you think about warfare, what do you do when you want to, in battlefield warfare, when you want to destroy another army? You surround them once you got them surrounded on all sides.
Yep.
Now you just press in toward the middle.
Yes.
Brother, they got the whole damn exterior now. All they got to do now is just press in toward the middle. This is basic European battlefield warfare. This is Napoleon. This is Napoleon Bonaparte, man.
Exactly. I just hope the brothers and sisters in Jamaica will wake the hell up.
Brother, here's my issue, is that waking up is when you still got time to do it. I'm telling you right now. I'm not using, this is math, man. This is math. It's math. The game is over. The game's over. Yeah. It's math at this point. It's math.
Too much colonial mindset and everything else, and too much self-hating and everything else. They just don't. They have a lot of self-hate out there.
They did not learn the lessons of the opium wars, and they did not learn our lessons here in America. They didn't learn. They paid no attention to either one. I am a realist. I don't sit up here and sell you all on dreams. I'm not going to have you focus your energies and your resources in places where I know the war's already over. In Jamaica, the fight's over. The war's over. At this point, I do not know if the rest of it goes quickly or if the rest of it goes slowly. I'm telling you the rest of it's going to go.
Yeah.
Just like I said in California, just like I said in Florida, in Texas. I don't know if it goes quickly or slowly, but I do know it goes. Harlem. I told y'all Harlem was gone a decade ago. I do not know if it goes quickly or if it goes slowly. I just know it's gone.
Yeah.
Well, Jamaica, I do not know if the rest of it goes quickly or slowly, but I know it's gone.
Yep.
You don't have the
All right,
numbers,
Jason.
man. You don't have the numbers.
Yep. All right, Jason, B1.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, y'all. I mean, this is basic battlefield tactics here. Battle of the Bastards, Game of Thrones. Surround them on all sides and then press inward. That's it. Squeeze them. They've got nowhere to go. They have nowhere to retreat. You've surrounded them on all sides. Now you just press in toward the middle and just take everything that's left. And there's a lot left in there, man. There's a lot left. Oh, y'all are not going to like this. Oh, you're not going to like this. You see, Jamaica starts by marketing itself as the playground to come play with white women. It ends being the place where they sell out your black daughters. What? Damn! You've had a whole bunch of sexual debauchery going on over there and whatnot, and you ain't seen nothing yet. When they get done, Jamaica will be like the Thailand of the Caribbean. Only it'll be your black females down there that Jeffrey Epstein's associates will be running the yard of. Yeah, well, Jason, they don't like those black females. These are sexual degenerates. They go where they can run things, and they can't really do it with the white girls anymore. That went bad. So they're running all over Thailand. They have no problem with Asian females. So if they can't get what they actually want, they'll settle. They'll settle. Anybody who doesn't believe that has not been paying attention to all the other suspected white supremacists been running down there, sex tourism and everything. So if you all want to know where it goes next, I'm telling you where it goes next. It's going to go exactly like that. The ultimate resource of any area are its people. The ultimate resource of any area are its people. So they're going to grab the ground resources, the real estate resources, and then finally go ahead and grab those human resources. Oh, folk are not. Okay, let me explain. Let me ask something here. The biggest white supremacists you met were the founding fathers of America, and you already know a bunch of them were messing around with the black slaves, even had children with them. That didn't cramp their style whatsoever. Some of you are stupid enough to believe that those are held principles. Their principle is white supremacy. What they do for sexual fun, they see that as separate and apart from the principle. Ain't that right, Strom Thurmond? How many examples do you have to have? You are confused. Who they lay up with, Brother Neely Fuller taught you, they get out of bed, they're not confused. Ain't that right, Chud the Blunder? How many times do we have to show you example after example after example of so-called blatant hardcore white supremacists? All of them done been in bed with a black woman. Now they go nuts if a white woman gets in bed with a black man. What? But all of them been in bed with white women. How many? Bill Clinton. Okay, they hop in bed with black folk. That's like a local recreation. It's like a local vacation. All right, finally get some sex from somebody who know what the hell they doing. As soon as they hop out the bed, okay, that was great. All right, let me get back here in Congress and go pass some laws to lock your ass up. Marjorie Taylor Greene. That is a fatal, terminal level of naivete. They hopping in bed with us. They must be cool. They hop in bed with you for fun, and as soon as they hop out that damn bed, they go to Donald Trump's house and start organizing how we're going to implement white supremacy and legalize it. What's the next step we're going to do? You still sitting there in the bed buzzing and telling yourself, I'm not black no more. I was an American. I ain't black, I'm ASAP Rocky. I ain't in the hood, I'm in Soho. They slapped the cuffs on his ass. I'm black, well, you should overcome. So I need you all to understand, I know there's been a whole lot of talk about white men and passport bros, which started with white men, by the way. For those of you who don't know. They go to Europe and places like that, and then more recently they started ending up in Asia. Yeah, but for those of you who do not believe that these white men will practice white supremacy utilizing black females, you're not paying attention. I mean, you really don't understand how this works. If you do not believe that you can have white supremacists sitting in the middle of a black nation surrounded by black women and that they will implement white supremacy right there in the middle of that, you literally are too ignorant to be able to have this discussion. You want to talk about a sexual fetish? You want to know what a sexual fetish is? The sexual fetish is the creation of a Candace Owens. A sexual fetish is to have a little black girl who looks as black as she can possibly be, and yet she talks like a white supremacist, and she believes it. What do you think these cults are about? Hello, Jim Jones, the cult leader, not the rapper. Where did Jim Jones go again? But then again, where do all these white supremacist religious folk go? Where do they go again? Go ahead, say it. Where did Jim Jones go again? Did he go among a bunch of white folk, a bunch of white women? Is that where he went? Take a look at the folk that he had following him before he left. You all need to go and take a look at who the folk who were following Jim Jones before he left. Before he went to Guyana, did you all take a look at his congregation before he left? Oh man, you don't really want to go down this rabbit hole right here if you're of the idea that, well, don't worry, if you have a black population, you don't have to worry about white men coming here to sexually dominate, because you see, the genes would be against them. They wouldn't want to indulge themselves in a place where genetically it would just be a failure from the beginning. They would never waste their time with that. You ain't paid no attention. You paid no attention whatsoever to our history of mulattoes. Okay, all right. Yeah, for the clowns in the clown car in the back of the classroom who think that they would be totally disinterested in that. You've obviously paid zero attention to the long-standing, tried and true history and practice of creating mulattoes. Mulattoes didn't start in America, it just got big over here. They've been doing that everywhere. That's not new. That's a long-held practice. They do that everywhere. And if you think that they are not willing to sit there and say that it is worth it to be at an intermediate stage of, quote, improving the race, if you think they don't think it's worth it, you haven't paid attention. They will sit there and have 100-year project to mulattoize Jamaica or any other place you want to name. It's worth their while. And if you think they won't do it, you have literally ignored everything you saw happen over here. In case you were telling yourself they wouldn't commit themselves to doing it. Let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom again. Let me see if we can get Brandon up here on Zoom. Let's see if we can get Brandon up here on Zoom for us here.
Hey, okay,
Brandon, what's on your mind?
What's going on, JB, man? No, man. Happy Father's Day, man. We already know you're not a father, but definitely your seed of knowledge has definitely been spread far and wide, though, man. If you just looking, listening, and all the people, how you gamed a lot of brothers on up and gamed up people, brothers and sisters, and everyone around the earth, man. You almost got more children out here than Genghis Khan, brother. You're going to have more descendants than Genghis Khan, man, out here, though, man. So definitely want to go ahead and give your shout-outs to that, man. Big up shoot for that one. But I definitely wanted to go ahead and comment on tonight's broadcast, man. You were definitely spent some hot fire. Definitely about Juneteenth and how Ghana is definitely trying to colonize it. It makes absolutely no sense, none whatsoever, about what these people are trying to go ahead and do over there in Ghana. Ghana does not deserve reparation. It owes reparations. And just off fact and principle, can anyone tell me any type of win any of these African or Caribbean, these non-FBAs have really had in the last couple of decades that wasn't directly imposed in us in some type of way, where they wasn't cosplaying one of us, they wasn't trying to be around us, that they actually got anything of any type of accomplishment in any way, shape, form, or fashion, not here, but in their homeland, without our direct involvement or following our steps and our blueprints. I mean, can you even show that? And then they act like though we're supposed to be following them, while they only got Jamaica only got less than 1% access to their beach.
It's an insult for Akon or any other clown to tell us we need to come to Africa and breathe the air so we can see what it's like to be free. Nigga, you ain't breathing free air over there your damn self.
Hell no. Living in shanty towns. I was up over there some years ago in South Africa, out there in Gungale too, and seeing how they were out there living, man. They ain't got nothing going on up over there that we need to emulate, not anywhere possible. Not in South Africa, not in Nigeria, not any damn where on that whole damn continent do we actually need to follow their lead. If we followed their leads though, man, shit, we be piss poor, fleeing all around no too. So hell no. Dude, you ain't got no wins for you to try to tell us that we need to follow you. That's the real damn reality. You ain't got no wins. It's just following.
Okay, Brandon, your signal has dropped out on you there, but thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. We appreciate that. Your signal's dropped out on you there, but yeah, you know, you're going to lead us. Where you leading us at, man? I mean, you don't have any wins. You come breathing, y'all. You just like to come here and breathe and be free and free air. And it's like, but brother, you ain't free over there your damn self. How you going to help me do something you can't do yourself? I mean, if it was like that, you wouldn't be over here with me. You'd be over there balling the hell out. No. You trying to sell us on something you can't even do your damn self. No, we through with that. We through with that. Let me go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom and see if I can get Ed up over here on Zoom for me here. Let's see if we can get Ed up over here on Zoom. Okay, Ed, I'll give you a couple of moments here. Make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on just so we don't have any trolling issues. Ed, make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on just so we don't have any trolling issues. I can give you 5 seconds to take care of that, and then we got to move on. I can give you 3 seconds to take care of that, then we got to move on. I can give you 1 second to take care of that, then we got to move on. All right, let's go ahead and get you on up out of here then, Ed. Yeah, brothers and sisters, like I say, I want you to know that anybody who is questioning whether or not we made progress, whether or not we are the real deal, whether or not we are the trendsetter, the leader, anybody who is questioning that, anyone who is questioning that, don't believe me, ask Ghana and the other 80 nations or 80 countries and whatnot. Go ask them. Go ask them how we doing. Go ask them whose lead we're following. Ask them, where was your reparations movement before the last 3-4 years? Yeah, obviously it took you all forever to scrounge your courage together. I don't know if I call this courage, but by the way, yes. Yeah, and now you're suspect all over the place. So please understand, even if you do, you can keep begging for that. But when they come and ask us, hey, how do y'all foundationals feel about this? We're going to say, well, before they can talk to anybody about reparations, we need to talk about their bill. So what are they going to do? I'm just letting you all know. Now, they're going to try to have this conversation without us. They're going to try to see if they can grift off of our momentum and try to convince the rest of the world that somehow we're connected to this. But the rest of the world's not stupid. They're going to come and check our temperature to see if we support it. And when they realize, oh, no, ain't no support, it's going to run aground. And then all of them are going to go back to seeing if they can become dark-skinned Spaniards or dark-skinned Frenchmen or dark-skinned Belgians or whatever other mental disability they're latched onto this week. Whatever else they can grab onto this week. Brothers and sisters, anybody who wants to doubt whether or not we are the headliner, whether or not we are the leader, whether or not we have set the trend that everybody else follows, and whether or not we have been effective. If anyone has ever tried to convince you that we were not effective at what we do and what we've been doing, yeah, the folks who have had a nonstop track record of centuries of losing, what do you know? Those are the ones sitting up here trying to steal our shine, trying to fake on our shine. The very folk who were telling us about what couldn't be done, and I'll be damned if they're sitting right here in the middle, done pulled up a chair to the table that we built. We built the table while they were sitting outside talking about, y'all niggas can't build no table. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Now I'll be damned. As soon as we got the table built, ooh, boy, that's good. I sure is hungry. We know you hungry. Sally Struthers told us. What? But in any case here, it's like, yeah, the folks who didn't have a hand were working the whole time to undermine it, downsaying it, doomsaying it, telling us what couldn't be done, what wasn't going to be able to occur. And I'll be damned, y'all. They're the first ones pulling up a damn chair to the table. Now, all of a sudden, they pulling up a chair to the table. Nobody rolled out the red carpet or helped us in the Caribbean. They're not helping us today. Turks and Caicos, Virgin Islands, Barbados. We can go down the list. They're not rolling out the damn red carpet. You would figure if they had some sense, they would be. They're not doing that. No, they're waiting for the Europeans and the Asians to show up and buy up the whole coastline. You show up, wait a minute, yeah. Let me see your papers and who vouched for you. And did you bring some white women? And you look suspect. Okay, those Asians are going to buy up everything. Do they look suspect? Oh, those good people. Okay. So yeah, now that we've made progress at turning back the white supremacist tide, now all the folks who didn't help and pulling up their chairs. They're bringing their styrofoam meal box. What? Last thing you want is some lazy, hungry nigga sitting over your damn stove. He told you you'd never be able to get nothing cooking. As soon as you smell some, oh, that's good, boy. Cookie! He's ravenous. It's like, didn't you say we were able to cook nothing? Oh, I was just playing, God. I knew you could do it all along. I knew you could do it all along. It's like, no, you just trying to keep your coastline from getting ate up. That's what you doing. You're trying to keep your coastline from getting chewed up. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. Once again, folks, I want to say this once again. I don't take joy in that. I'm not here to downplay it. I'm not here to take joy in it. I'm not here to be mocking. I'm not here to do any of that. I'm just telling my brothers and sisters here from the soil that Jamaica has become a cautionary tale. Jamaica has become a cautionary tale, and if we don't keep standing 10 toes down, what has happened to Jamaica will happen to us. Now, we set the standard and the template for being able to push back against that, but do not be deceived. If we don't stand firm, what has happened to them will happen to us. For everybody else here, we tried to warn them. For the folks in the Caribbean, you're sitting up here telling your daughters and get you a white man. And okay, well, don't worry about those niggas in America. As if these Europeans gonna have your back. You're gonna invite them in. You're gonna empower them. You're gonna sit up here and act like, oh yeah, I have more in common with them. And he's sitting back. The devil is sitting back there, standing behind you, smiling. Yeah, you got more in common with me. And please understand, it always ends the same way. You sit up here and you break bread with the devil. You shake hands with the devil, figuring you gonna sell everybody else out. And when it's over, he's gonna double cross you. Which is not really double crossing you, because it was obvious what he was gonna do the whole time. He just wanted to see if you were selfish and craven and cowardly and two-faced enough to go along with it. When it's over, he's going to double cross you. And then he's going to take it all. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. I want to thank everyone who has contributed for tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out to John S2X3B. Thank you very much for your support here tonight. Big shout out here to Karen. Thank you very much for your support here as well, Karen. And to everyone who has contributed for tonight's program, we appreciate that. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the haven of intelligent Black thought. We do this every weekend, holidays, some days in between. So click that subscribe button and that notification button. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to blackchannelfilms.com, check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work at blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight's program. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, Black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.